There you
Oh,
go.
there she goes. All right. Well, I'm cracking an energy drink. Take the level.
I just had one. I just had one before we started. It's been a long 2 weeks, bro. Got my ass kicked in the last 2 weeks with work and training, that's for sure.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But kind of start off. I know we want to do this podcast as kind of an after action report to the class you did in Massachusetts, which was awesome. I was a student in. But to start off, I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on the class. I know you teach all around the country. We had a very special group. I like to think we're special. But what were what were your thoughts on it? What were some common struggle points you saw? What were some common easy points that everyone got?
I'll try to do I'll try to answer those one at a time. First of all, it was one of my best classes. I think what makes a class great isn't just the students. Like, I don't really care what kind of a level of a shooter you are. I care about the energy of the students, like the energy of the class. So, uh, like, and I told you guys this at the end. I do really well with not weak people. Like, I do really well with people that like crack jokes and like aren't super sensitive and like mess with each other when I'm training or coaching somebody. And it's not stuffy, like it's fun. Like it's like you literally like your buddy's like, man, you suck, dude. And it's like, oh yeah, let's go get him. And then that guy takes that trash talk and uses it as a positive, right? And it's not like, oh man, he's mean to me. Um, I just don't do well with those people in general because I'm not that sensitive as it is. So it's like when you have a whole class of that, it's pretty awesome, right? Like, I don't know, it was like 30 something degrees on day one. There was snow on the ground all over the stage. Like it was, and it was awesome. Like it was probably one of the best energy classes. And honestly, man, I got to say, I have a lot of high energy classes. I think that has to do with me because I won't let it be boring. I won't let it be like low energy.
You attract
Uh,
a certain kind of person too.
I think so. I think so. And I think that's important to me because I mean, why would I want to be around a bunch of people that hated training? Like, that's kind of like, why would you come to a class if you really didn't want to train? Like, I don't know. It's funny because there's a clip that I never shared. I took some of it, but I didn't do the audio part. And I can hear you and Angel in the background going, man, he's coaching this like a football coach. And I just started laughing when I heard that. I'm like, I guess I kind of do. Like, I just don't. I kind of have a standard that I try to hold everybody to, and I basically hold everybody to my standard, right? Like bring everybody up to me, not the other way around. Like it's funny because before we started the video, we were discussing about like levels and training levels, and I was like, I don't have levels. I think everybody's a Grand Master inside somewhere. They just have never done what I do or have never trained what I train, and that's why they're not what they. That's what they are. What they are. They're not a GM because they don't do GM shit. I mean, I've said that a billion times and I've written it down, podcasts, whatever it is. I truly believe that. I've never met a shooter that I can't get to do what I want them to do. They might not be at the GM level, but everybody can do what I do. It's just getting to the point where they can do it on their own. And that class was filled with guys that were open minded. That was a massive part of that class. Like we had police, a lot of police. That
Yeah,
was a big giant
I
surprise.
think it's half the
Uh,
class.
yeah, half the class was probably police officers, which was awesome because you tend to have a certain group of police officers or a certain type of personality, and sometimes those guys aren't the most open minded, and that was the most open-minded group of police I've ever met. It's like and they're all different personalities, right? Like everybody's different. And it was pretty awesome to see all those guys like take the criticism, right? Like, I mean, it's funny because the beginning of my class, I literally told all of them, I said, you're going to suck in this class. Like, you're going to really struggle. And when they did, they understood it wasn't because they're terrible. It was because they're learning something new. And then you would see them kind of go back afterwards and like, I'm not going to suck. I'm going to get better at this. Like now, before he leaves, and everybody got better. Everybody in the class. So it was just, you the high energy is a massive thing for me, and it just the effort, like keeping that high energy and the effort throughout the class makes the class what it is. If you don't have that, man, it's like
Can't
cattle
teach,
prodding.
can't
you know
teach effort.
Yeah. Well, I spend a lot of energy I mean, I'm interested in what you think, but day one and day two are completely different energy levels, right? Like I am way harder on people on day two than I am on day one because day one, I'm feeling people out. I don't really know everybody. So I'm not like, I need to know who I need to get on and who I need to have a nice soft talk with, right? Like everybody's a little bit different. Um, so like day two, I am much more, they're also, everybody's really tired, right? Like day one is long. Like it's a long day. Like you shoot 700 rounds on day one. So it's a long day. Obviously it was freezing cold there. It was snow and everything. So obviously everybody's, it's already hot, cold, and there's lots of work to do. So like day two, I'm usually a lot more intense on, holding people to a higher standard. And I mean, people are going to take that however they want. Right. So I don't need to like kind of explain myself and be like, oh, I'm not that mean. I'm really not as mean as everybody says I am. I'm just not going to let you slack off. And I don't, somehow that became mean in today's world.
Accountability. People don't like accountability. That's all.
I agree. Yeah. If you come to my class, you're going to be held accountable. I promise you that. I hold myself accountable, right? Like if I do a bad job coaching you, I'm gonna have a long talk with myself.
Well, it's like student. That's what I expect. I mean, that day that we're setting up talking, like the things as a student that I inspect out of the person that I'm paying to come and coach me is I want to be held accountable. If I go through 2 whole days and all I got told was, "Oh my God, you're so good," I have a serious problem. I did not come here for this. Uh, I want to be told like if I'm trying to get better, I need to be told the things I'm doing aren't what I should be doing. Because if not, then there's no room to grow, and I'm the best shooter in the world, right? Which obviously isn't the case. But being told like that you suck or you need to get better at this, and also like what I was sucking at and how
Yes.
to get better, and then seeing the result right away, that's important. And I think a lot of people just they don't have that in their program. They don't.
Yeah.
Like, let's do these drills. These drills work on these things. Here's I'm seeing some of this out of your shooting. Let's change this. Walk away, go to the next person. Like, and they'll call that like critiquing or coaching. Um, but on a large scale, like we're athletes, right? We play a sport. I want to get better at the sport. Yeah, I want to get better at shooting too, but that's kind of grouped in, to getting better at the sport.
Yeah.
But having that coaching and being like, no, you really suck at this. You need to do X, Y, and Z, run it back again right now. And then getting the result. Okay, now do it again. Now do it again. So that way you actually feel what right is. I think that's a huge part of growth. Not just being able to do it once, but multiple times. So that way you can repeat it. That was huge for me.
I think that's one of the reasons why kind of I was kind of thinking about it in my last class. I just had a class in Arizona. Actually, I did a private lesson yesterday and for like 7 people. And I keep going back and going, man, do I not have enough drills? Like, do I not do enough like shooting stuff, right? And then I was talking to the students and I told them, and I told you guys this, I don't tell everybody, what my mindset is and why I coach the things that I do. Uh, but like one of the things, the reason I do the drill twice, like you've noticed, we talked about this. I did the drill twice and everyone's like, I'm like, do you know why we do the drill twice? And everyone's like, yeah, why do we do the drill twice? Why don't we just do it once, like shoot a bunch of rounds and then move on or whatever? I said, because the first time you don't know what the hell you're doing. Like you're literally like, what's he want here? Okay, so squeeze the gun. Okay, I'm shooting left, so squeeze my left hand, da 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 da. And then you're fumbling around and you're kind of like trying to figure out like exactly what the gun feels like or whatever it is that I have you doing. And then the second time, you get to sit down, you get to reload, you get a few minutes, like probably 15, 20 minutes easily of non-shooting, non-work, and you get to think about what the next one's going to be, right? Because everybody knows they're coming up again. And then the next time, everybody does better. And it's like, okay, and how much less coaching did I have to do? Right. That's another thing. I guess I've never really thought about that out loud until this conversation. I do way less coaching on the second run. I still have to get people. I still have to talk to people. But on the second run, it's like, look at your group. And they're like, whoa, like that's so much better.
That's how it should be.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you're constantly having to make critiques, then what was the other stuff you were talking about?
Well, the thing to me is, I think the biggest problem in most people that go to classes is I think they kind of want the coach to just talk to them a lot. Like I've had some people like they're smashing alphas, like literally the size of my fist at ridiculous splits, and they're like, "Hey, what do I need to do?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Like just keep going. Like you're crushing it. Like until I see something." Obviously, if your base is there, why would I come over and go, let's move your hand, let's change this? Let's not just change things to change things, right? Like if all of a sudden we're in the middle of a drill and you're yanking everything right, or your pattern looks like a shotgun, me and you are going to have a conversation, but you won't have to call me.
Yeah.
I'll be right there on you immediately when I look down at your target, or I look at your stance, or, all these different things. Like I'm not just standing back there running reps. I'm watching everybody. Right. Like I can't tell you how many times I've caught somebody from 5 shooters away because I'm on the line, not just watching the guy I'm standing near. Like I walk like 20,000 steps each day because I'm just pacing back and forth and back and forth. And I'm trying to catch that moment of, oh, look, stop. Did you feel that? If I catch that moment, that's when the breakthroughs happen, you
Yeah.
know?
I'm I'm the per I was looking at it through my own point of view, but I'm the perfect example of that. When we were working grip, something I loved about your coaching through that is you didn't. I was kind of watching from afar what you were critiquing with other people too, just kind of learning from from a coaching perspective.
Yeah, which is awesome.
You didn't tell everyone the same thing. Like I've heard a lot of coaches be like, "All right, everyone needs to have their hands here, do this, do this." But I mean, I've seen it, and I know you know it, it's not the case. Like everyone's hands are different, everyone's shooting different guns. Some people's grip works for them, and at the end of the day, if you're getting alphas as fast as you can pull the trigger, why change?
Yeah, why? But who
Um,
cares? As long as it's consistent too. That's really the only thing I care about, consistency. If you teacup grip and rip that gun in 13 splits and you're getting alphas at 5 yards or 10 yards or whatever it is, bro, let's keep it. Works for
yeah,
you. Let's rock and roll.
yeah, and even for me, like that small change, like when we were talking, you're like, "All right, you need to crush harder with your support hand," and I'm gushing blood out of my support hand. I'm gripping the gun so hard.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, maybe that's not it. Let's change this. And that little tweak that we had, now it's like ingrained. I can't even remember how I used to grip the gun now.
Yeah.
But just a small tweak made like a huge difference for me. Um, but even then, like the person right next to me in the line, they didn't get that critique. It's something else for them, something personalized for them. I hope they took it and practiced with it. But that's on them. But that was definitely interesting because at least me, like I'll admit it, like a lot of times I think this is the perfect way to grip the gun, or this is how you should apply pressure on the, frame of the gun when it's not, it's just not the case for everyone. People do all different things. And that's why, like, now I look at instructors when they talk about a bunch of different things, and I'm like, all right, maybe they're saying this because it works for them. But like, if you're saying it just blanket statement works for everyone, all right, it's probably not. It may work for you, and you think it's the special, you know,
Sauce, baby.
sauce. But it was cool to watch you like coach everyone on that because like at least from my perspective, it was interesting to see that not everyone got the same critique as far as grip goes, which is something I was always curious about. But until I explored it myself with you, it it was awesome. And it's helped me a ton.
So one of the things that's big with me about the grip is that it really the target tells me what the problem is, right? Like I don't really. I mean, it always starts with stance. Like, I mean, how many people in that class had a stance issue where they stood up and the gun, their grip wasn't even an issue. It was the rocking back and forth that killed them, right? And they didn't realize it until I said, look, and then I don't know, by the end of the class, how many of those guys was I yelling to stand up? Almost nobody. Cause they like, it was instant results by just going, hey, listen, put your chest into the gun a little bit. And then they lean into that gun and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, like the gun's going back to where I'm aiming. And I go, hey, what a concept, right? Like, but the problem is everybody immediately goes to the gun. The gun is honestly the biggest problem in our sport. Like if as a shooter in a sport, the gun is really what holds most people back. Like the footwork is killing them, the stance is killing them, but they're like, man, but I can stand here and hammer doubles all day long, predictive shooting, or I get one sight. Oh, that was another thing I had to get rid of. Like so many people took one sight picture, two shots, and they're a shotgun blast, right? Like, all right, cool. You hit the bottom of the A and the top of the A. Great job. Now in a stage, you're getting Charlies and Deltas all over the place. Like if you can't repeat, a golf ball size at slow speed, when you go faster, you're not getting that same thing during a stage, right? So it's one of those things where each shooter, like somebody would dip down, I'd be like, you got to reverse the pressure on this hand. You're shooting left, you got to squeeze a support hand, and then I mean, one of your biggest issues was you were squeezing so hard that the gun was rattling. Like literally the slide wanted to shake off of that gun. And I'm like, bro, don't try to grip out of the holster so hard. Like just loose as you drive out, squeeze the gun and think about pressure points, like where you want the pressure. And then as soon as you did that, you looked at me, dude, I have you on video turning around and looking at one. I think it was your brother, and you go,
Yeah, I know that
back
video.
to shooting. And I was like, dude, yeah, because obviously I don't see all those moments, but I'm like, that dude had a light bulb go off, right? It was just cool. It was like, those are the moments where I'm like, let's go, baby. You did your job.
It was fun. I've been hammering it on trigger control at speed, um, triples and bill drills out of the holster. Just, not like, let me just rip six as fast as I
Yeah,
can.
yeah, yeah.
Trigger control at speed to build my durability and my grip out of the draw. Because that was my biggest thing. Like you talked about, gripping the gun like all the way down in my pocket, all the way
Yeah.
out. And it worked, but I was producing so much force into the gun that my body started breaking down from it, like
Yeah.
my forearm. I don't have that issue anymore,
It's
which is
awesome.
it's a miracle. Not
Yeah,
really.
the durability is a big thing, man. I don't think people understand that. You can have a grip that actually keeps you from shooting,
Yeah.
right?
I
You
mean,
literally can create a grip in this sport to where you can't hold up. Like you can't shoot thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds to even get better because you're going to be on the sideline.
which is what was happening with me. I was having to take weeks off because it was like it was
Mhm.
too painful to hold the gun.
Yeah.
Like we were talking that day, I was like, I can barely lift my arm up right now by the end of the first day.
That
And
means dry fire ends. That means you can't dry fire because if you're dry firing with a hurt arm, you're not actually squeezing the gun like you're supposed to.
I was checking the box. Like we
Yeah.
talked about, I was like, I train every day, but
Yeah.
for 3-ish months, 4-ish months, I was checking the box. Like
Yeah.
I trained today,
Yeah.
but was it quality?
Yeah.
I was gripping the gun the best I could,
Yeah. Well, you're just what you had for knowledge. That's how it works,
but I had
right?
like
Like
took some
you,
time
you,
off, changed my grip how you had it, and I talked to some PTs. Luckily, I have a great group around me to help me out. But it's so much better now, and I can get the same results, if not better, that I did with the gun before without pain and less effort. Like now it's almost, I don't want to say all, but it's almost all in my hands.
mhm.
Before it was just pure forearm strength,
Yeah.
which is very different. Like now after I work my grip in dry fire and live, my hands kill because I'm like very specific where I'm putting pressure versus like before I was just like, I'm gonna break the frame of the gun, which I actually did. I broke an ASG. It wasn't because I was gripping it so hard,
Right.
but it
Right.
did crack. So now
Hilarious.
I like to say I broke it because I was gripping it so hard.
Send that into the doctor. Say, look, this is why I'm hurt. This gun right here. I hurt my hand breaking the grip.
Exactly, that was my excuse to get steel frame sig. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, no, that tweak for me was amazing. And finally, matches are starting to come around in this area. Just kind of biting the bullet and doing private matches with Angel and I instead of waiting. But it's been good. I mean, I'm crushing a lot more alphas at faster faster times now, which is good. And the dot's tracking a lot more to the 12 and down, like exactly where I want it. It was doing that before, but like I said, I was using every ounce of strength I had, where now it's like half the strength.
You would shoot left a lot with your grip that you had before. You would be in the A, but it was like it almost looked like you sighted your gun in to the left of the center. Like it was just a perfect group to the left. And that's why I was like, bro, you need to squeeze your left hand. And you're like, okay, I'm going to squeeze my left hand. And I'm like, okay, I come back over. I go, dude, you need to squeeze your left hand. Like you're still shooting in the same group. Like I even took your gun from you and sighted it in to make sure that it wasn't, the gun wasn't off.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, watched you again. And again, and again, I walked away, obviously started coaching other people, came back and I walked up and I was like, there's something else here. Like there's no way that this is a left-hand issue. I was like, he's too good of a shooter. He coaches, he knows what he's talking about here. So let me step back here and watch. And then I just remember watching you pick the gun up and I didn't even have you shoot. Like I held the timer for a second and I was just like, stand by for the whole group. And I watched and I was like, oh, you're squeezing way too hard. Like the gun is just literally rattling, like shaking. So I was like, all right, look, let go, bring it back to your chest. And then I want you to drive it out. And I just want you to squeeze the gun as you push it out to the target. And as soon as you did that, dude, everything was just bum, 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 bum in the A. And then it was like, all right, look, you're squeezing too hard. Like this isn't a pressure issue. This is a total grip strength problem. Like you're not an issue on which pressure you have or don't have. It's like you have nothing but pressure.
Yeah.
So then as soon as I got you to like stop trying to grip it from the chest, because that was like kind of the issue. Like your elbows were tucked in tight and you were trying to grip the gun with no dot, no sights, no nothing. You didn't even have like the perfect grip set up yet. Drive it out there. And then it was just like the gun just rattling. It's like, bro, you can't repeat that to the point where you couldn't make that repeatable, right? Like, because your whole focus was just muscle. It was all strength. It wasn't even really a technique issue at that time.
Right.
It's just like, I'm going to muscle this gun. And it's like, well, you're never going to stop recoil.
Yeah. I mean, the
Um,
thing is, I've always been told is grip the gun harder. Grip the gun
and
harder.
I'm a grip the gun harder guy, right? Like I grip both hands really hard. But it's not I'm going to squeeze this gun really hard. I'm going to put the pressures where I want them really hard,
Oh,
right? Like,
where
yes.
you're putting it. And I noticed like for me, like I even have blisters at the top of the chicken wing of my thumb now, because I'm like focusing on putting pressure like with this part of my hand,
Yes.
was like at the top of the frame,
Yes.
and then rotating a little bit. My hand's way more forward on the gun. Um,
I'll use my ace gun since I don't have my gun with me. I've been shooting PCC so much, I don't even carry the other gun. Um, so like right here, this part of my gun, this part of the gun is so important for your weak side hand. I don't think people understand how important that part is. And the reason why this is so important is because this is what keeps the gun from slipping around, right? Like we have a ton of pressure down here at the bottom of the gun. It's right here at the top that I want to put my hand, that I want to like, and the fattest part of my hand is right here, right? So like if you just kind of looked at your hand and you kind of like tried to flatten it, you can kind of see it's already concave, right? So if I say, all right, I'm going to put my hand on this gun, look at the gap, you can kind of see it already. Just as soon as I curve my fingers, I get a big gap. So that means I need as much pressure side to side on the gun like this so I can really get skin to skin on that gun. Like I want skin on grip as much as possible. Now rolling my wrist forward allows me to not have to like actually physically drive the gun down, because if I just kind of lock that wrist, like I just take that wrist and kind of roll it forward, it brings me up into all this grip, all this real estate for grip. And then I'm just skin to skin, bro, and it's over. Like I control and own that gun. And as
Absolutely.
soon as I made that change, man, it changed my life as a pistol shooter.
It's helped me a ton. And like you said, applying pressure like up here
Hmm.
and then rotating. So like I'm
Yep.
also pulling down in the bottom.
Yeah, baby.
I realized like this back part on my
Yeah.
right hand pushing in to counteract it,
Yep.
it locks it in.
I think the biggest problem is I don't think people like in this class that I just had this weekend, I don't think people do. So I'm not a drills guy. I think the biggest problem in most instructors programs is that let me say it this way. The biggest problem I see from the way I coach and other instructors is there's nothing that ties the drills into the stages. So that's the one thing that I do different, I think, is that, well, there's a lot of things I do different, but I tie the drills into the stage part. Like I can't tell you how many people that have taken my class, lots and lots and lots of them, have taken my class. I've had Grand Masters in my class. I've had A class, Masters. I mean, guys that should already have this stuff figured out. And I can't get them to get the same transition that they do while they're standing and drilling on a stage. And it's like, look, dude, you just had a 20 transition on a target that was 1 to 2 feet apart. Like they're literally right here. Why can't you give me that transition during a stage when you're walking towards it? It's because you drill and drill and drill and drill. And then you go, oh shit, I'm on a stage. This is different. It's the same thing.
Hey,
It's the same thing.
you say that, I'm working on the same. That's literally
I
what
know.
you and I were talking about today. I mean, our language to each other is a lot more colorful in our messages. We'll pull up the videos, and today we were like, I forget what it's called. It's like a ghost effect or something like that. You know, like,
Yes, where you guys go overlay each other. Yeah, 100%. Yep.
yeah. So he found that feature today, and it was cool to see like where he was beating me on certain things, and you're shooting like a bitch in here, and you're not doing this how you should. Like, stop sucking.
Yeah.
But it's exactly that. It's like I can shoot with everyone. It's applying that on a stage while moving at the same pace. I'm like, I can do it. It's just now let's execute and implement it every single time on a stage, not just micro training it on a drill.
It takes a ton of sacrifice, dude. And what I mean by sacrifice is the results don't matter, right? Like this is the problem is the results are actually what you're working on. So like I can't tell you how many people that will argue with me and say practicing at a local is stupid. Like you can't practice at a local. Well, I hate to tell you, but there's about 30 to 40 to 50 to 100 transitions at a local. Don't tell me that you can't practice at a local. That's all I did when I first started. I didn't have access to a range. I didn't have a place to go shoot. All I had was locals every single weekend. I had a Tuesday match, a Friday match, and a Sunday match that we traveled to every single weekend. Every single week, I was shooting 3 times a week. And all I did, once I tucked my ego away in my pocket for the rest of my life, I sat down and said, okay, buddy, this is my opportunity to get better. I'm going to sacrifice some wins at those local matches. And who gives a shit? Because there is no one here I care about. There's no one here at this match that I want to be like, right? I'm looking around. I'm like, well, that guy's been here for 7 years and still a B class. That guy's been here for 5 years and he's still a C class. This guy over here has been here for 10 years and he's barely an A. This guy here, oh my God, I'm beating him already and I've only been here for 6 months. So it's like, if I don't want to be them, why would I train like them?
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because if you think about this, like I said, the problem is you are taking great job at drills, man. You're awesome at that drill. But if you can't use it where it matters, like if you want to be really good at drills, then you're doing the right thing. But if you want to be good at the sport, you have to practice the drills in the sport.
Right.
You have to be in a sports situation. You have to have that pressure to do those things at speed and be willing to accept the mistakes and learn from the mistakes every time. And see, that's the thing is the longer I've gotten into this is the more I've accepted the mistakes. The more I'm like, all right, I know what I did. I aimed low. I aimed wrong. I didn't put the gun where I want to be.
I'll make an analogy to this and pick any sport in the world. Would you say that if they're scrimmaging in practice, they're no longer practicing anymore? No one in their right mind would be like,
that's all they're doing is practicing.
but they're scrimmaging.
Yeah. Well, you can't get that through to people.
Game time is only majors, which I understand, right? If game time is only majors, which makes sense, your locals are your scrimmages, in my eyes.
Dude, I'll do locals as major matches right before a major match. That's it. Like, so like I'm getting ready to go to the World Shoot. I went to this latest match and shot it like it was the World Shoot. I didn't go to this match and go, all right, man, I'm still trying to get better. I didn't care. Dude, I have been practicing every single local match I've gone to in the last 5 months. I have reloaded on with a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
I have 57 round mags. I have 47 round mags. Why am I reloading and forcing myself to? Oh, that's right. Because I'm practicing for something that actually does matter to me. And again, this is not against people who only go to locals and that locals matter to them. If you care about getting better, you've got to sacrifice some locals and actually use them for practice. So I have a couple of people that will message me back and forth, other coaches that I respect. We don't agree on most things, which is awesome because we have great conversations. But one of the scenarios I was given is if you go to a local and you're working on, let's just say 25-yard steel, and you hit the steel one time and on the next stage you miss the steel, that's a pass and a fail. That's what I was told. And I was like, see, that's the problem. It's not a pass and it's not a fail because the goal wasn't to hit the steel. The goal is to understand, why did I hit the steel the first time? Why did I miss the steel on the second time? It
Yeah.
wasn't did I hit it or miss it. It's what made the first one successful and the second one fail?
The
Like,
miss,
why did I come in and nail that thing? Say it again.
the miss is almost more important. As long as you're in tune with what
Yes.
you're doing. If you're just hosing
Mhm.
down and you're done after that, and you're like, I missed it. Next time I'll have to hit it.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
you're
and
not
that's
gonna
because of
learn.
the mindset. That's the mindset, though, bro, that these guys aren't practicing. They're out there shooting stages to win.
Like I've talked to a lot of people at locals, and they'll come up to me and they're like, I would have beat you on that stage if I hit my reload. And I'm like, all right, man, you were 8 seconds behind, but okay.
Yeah. Give
Um,
them the practice score app to do their edits, and then they can send you those apps.
or they're like, I just need, I'm going to be so much better. I just need to shoot more alphas. And I'm like, you're kind of missing the point here. It's not like, why are you missing? If you go Charlie Mike on every target, it's more than just, I just need to shoot more alphas and I'll win. Like, you're missing the steps here, or you're
Uh,
focusing.
I gotta, uh, I gotta tell you, I shot 17 Charlies, one Mike, and a no shoot at my last match against Max Leograndis, and I lost. I don't know if the answer is to shoot more alphas.
Not all the time. I was watching that practice score. That
I
dude's
had a malfunction. I had a malfunction on the first stage, which did not help. Um, but uh, listen, you're shooting against the best shooter in the world with a rifle, right? So at least in America that I know of, I haven't seen in Europe. I guess I'll find out in about 6 days. But uh, it's it's not just one thing, right? That's the problem. These guys don't. People don't understand. It's not one thing. Like, dude, if it was only shooting more alphas, my class would never have any stage stuff. It would just be you holding the gun and learning how to shoot better alphas. We
group
would
shooting.
never work
We
on
could do
stage
group
stuff.
shooting for 16 hours. It was-
And the crazy thing is there's a lot of people that like to pay for that.
yeah, I mean, Andrew and I talk about it all the time with some classes we see. Not from anyone like major.
Right, right.
I'm sure there's some stuff that goes on with that in bigger classes, but like at least locally or on the smaller level, we see what people pay for classes, not money wise, but like what they're getting from it, and we're like, what are you doing? It's almost like people would rather pay for a good time than to learn something and get better at shooting.
Yes, but you could just go to dinner and have a good time with your friends. Honestly,
Okay.
like one of the best things about our class was when we went to dinner. But the best part, the other thing is I didn't go to the class and go, well, dinner was the only good part, right? Like I enjoyed all of it, right? It was just like, and I honestly, that's one of the reasons why I try to do a class dinner because then you can talk about non-class things. You can talk about class things and not eat up class, right? If there's a question about something or there's something they wanted to know about maybe like some of the gear I have, we don't waste time in the class. We do that at dinner,
Yeah, I
right?
mean that's also when I pulled up my videos that I had people take from me in class. I'm like, Tom, can you look at this? And you're like, dude, you run so slow. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like simple critiques, but it's um, like you said, like having that extra time where I can have more eyes on this stuff is super helpful, as well as taking videos. Like if you don't
Hmm.
remember, make sure you have good friends that will remember for you. Thank you, Joe. Uh, but
Awesome.
yeah, I learned a ton from that, even if I'm filming on a flip phone. Um,
You got that jitterbug flip phone. Let's
yeah,
go.
I almost took a video that next day. I went to train with me at the back of the berm training and had the phone on the tripod by the Connex. and had it up.
That's awesome. Like just a little stick figure in the back, just running
Yeah.
around
I
doing stuff.
wanted to film that
Awesome.
so bad and I like totally forgot about it. I was already pissed off. But
I got a question for you. Have you been suffering in the new training now? Like, do you feel like you're just like getting your ass kicked a whole bunch?
frustrated, yeah. Like,
So how much success are you getting compared to the ass whooping?
um, I would say it depends what I'm working on because there's some things I'm better than others. Um, my grip feeling so much better. That was a lot of ass whooping in the beginning. Now
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it as much. The crash and the entries, I don't have to think about it as much anymore. Like I know how to plan it in, I know how to do it. So I'm
That's a game changer, dude, because when you don't have to think about like the entry speed and stuff, and it just you know that the pace, you know what the gun's supposed to feel like, the grip's good, man. It's just, dude, it's like butter.
which is
You're
fun.
just like, man, I'm magically landing on this stick every time. I haven't fallen out of bounds. I haven't stopped short. I haven't had to stretch out. I've got the same fundamentals every time. I wonder why I teach that. I wonder why I teach to keep repeatability. That's so weird.
It's weird.
I
But yeah,
like that running and flying out of bounds. It feels fun.
I end the entry and my feet are under me for the
Yep.
most part.
Yep.
But there's still some things that I'm working on that are kicking my ass. Like a lot of times, especially I'm training it a lot. If I'm coming into an entry and the last target that I'm coming in on is a lean, I'm doing that foot thing again, where I have like all my weight on one and that foot's
Yep.
up and I'm losing like
Yep.
0.5 to zero point 0.8 on my exit. Um,
So
so
chop your feet coming in. So this time, so instead of trying to crash in, come in and chop your feet during that crash. So like you'll get the gun up, but instead of trying to like stride in and do like a what is called a three-step entry or whatever it is, like do the entry with just regular walking, come in and like pick a point where you're going to chop your feet and then turn your hip. So you're not actually running or walking in, you're kind of stopping and turning, and that'll keep you from doing that. It's more of a precision entry, right?
it makes
So
sense. I can be
oh,
more precise like that.
yeah. Yeah.
But back to your question. So the grip was at the beginning, it was everything. I had the laundry list and it was every practice was frustrating. I was
Right.
getting I don't want to say minimal success, but compared to the list of things I needed to severely practice on, success was low. Now I'm starting to see it get closer to 50-50, but at the same time, like now my exits are suffering. So like my entries are good, my grips are good, but now my exits are starting to fall off. So I'm losing time on exits. And then I started to know as I'm working full stages now, entries on 30-yard partials while still moving really hard,
Yeah.
20-yard mini poppers, um, difficult. So like now I'm training that in because I can crash just fine and get alphas at 10 yards in. But stretching out to like 15 plus, especially when it starts to get to like partial targets and not having to really slow down, that's where I'm starting to see like, okay, I had success. Now it's time to suffer a little bit more. Now we find success and then we suffer a little bit more. But I don't know, that's kind of how I like to do my training. But one thing I loved about that technique, and we talked about it a little bit in the class when I was like, hey, people are just smashing two and saying, well, I'm getting alphas. Um, on that drill we had when we're just running
Yep.
straight.
Or isolated it. Yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm like, all right, this technique works for if it's a 30-yard partial, it works if it's a 2-yard open. Now it's just actually practicing it so that way I can get good at it.
Yep.
Uh, so I have a certain portion of it down. Now it's let's expand on it. Let's keep getting better at it. Because then you refine it in a way. Like you can get good to a certain extent, and then you have to get better to keep it going on harder targets. So that's kind of where I'm at now. It's kind of like a bang my head against the wall half the time, success half the time, almost dependent on the difficulty, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How much of that list are you attacking at one time, like per practice? Are you trying to get a bunch of things at one time, like do a little bit of this today and then a little bit of this today and a little bit of this day, or are you just kind of sticking with one thing at a time?
In my dry fire, I'm sticking to 1 to 2 things at a time. When I live fire, I'm trying to layer a lot of it together, which I think is coming
Too
down to a
much.
bit of downfall.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah. You got too much. Like, dude, think about that. Just think about the complexity of the crash, right? Like you got to pick a spot on the ground, which seems super easy, but no one seems to do it. Pick a spot on the ground. When you get to that spot, it's time to calm your brain. It's time to focus on your grip, get your gun up, roll your feet, get in the proper position, sights, trigger, shoot, transition, exit, all of these things. And then you go, oh man, all right, that one was awesome. All right, so now I'm going to go work on doubles. All right, now I'm going to go work on, backing out. Now I'm going to work on exits. Now I'm gonna, like, bro, you just did well one time. Like, okay, you did a little bit of the drill, but until it's something where you don't have to think at all and it just kind of happens. But dude, you never really stop thinking about this shit. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, every entry I had this weekend, I thought about everything, like one thing at a time. I came in, I was like, settle, mount, bomb, like all these things are going on. And then you turn around and go, all right, cool. Now I'm gonna go work on something else. It's like, wait, you haven't even finished that one yet. What's that?
You don't just turn your brain off when you shoot?
Hell no. There's no such thing as subconscious shooting at the top level, dude. And if anybody tells you that, they're probably not a top shooter. So it's funny because Eric Graffel posted something about how shooting is a conscious game, but I mean, that guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. So I guess,
He's an anomaly. He can't be studied.
yeah, for sure. God forbid that anybody else thinks like that. So
there's nothing to learn from him. He's an anomaly. Anytime in the States. So why learn from the best?
I heard somewhere that guy doesn't even know what he doesn't even know what he's doing. Like he doesn't even know he's doing what he's doing. What a bunch of bullshit.
Well, anyway,
like that dude's I think he's got it figured out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, he's
he's
only been winning for what, 25 years straight?
I think he's got it figured out. Like, dude, and I mean, if you literally like, I'm gonna tell you that most of the top shooters, we all do things a little bit differently, but most of our brains work the same. Most of us do exactly the same thing mentally. We come in, we think about the entries, we think about where to enter, all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. There's just, instead of getting into that conversation, it's just, you got to understand that everybody has their own way of doing it, and that's fine. But eventually, if you do not think while you're shooting, you're going to hit a roadblock, and you're going to feel awesome when you don't think about anything for a while, because then you're like, oh, good. I'm not confused. I'm not lost. I'm not, like I'm just making everything simple. And then eventually you're going to be like, bro, I've hit a roadblock. I don't understand what the hell's going on. I'm not getting any better. Well, you're not getting any better because you're not thinking through the process. You're not like, there is no way you can tell me that if I don't think about the reload, that it's going to be as fast as if I actually thought about it. If I think reload, I am going to absolutely smash that reload. But if I look at a target and I try to reload, I'm not going to have the same reload. It's just impossible. So when you say you're going to subconsciously do things, you can't just go through the motions and be as fast as possible. You have to think up and down and back and forth and move. Like, I can tell you the one thing I barely think about at all, and I'm not going to lie, I never really think about my sights ever. Like, I never think, oh my God, red dot in alpha. You know why? Because I look at the alpha, I put the red dot there, and then I rip it. I mean, shooting is like the thing I think the least of, right? I think of the mount. I think about my grip pressures. I don't think about shooting because everybody knows how to shoot the gun when the red dot hits the middle of the paper. Whether you're slow or fast, everybody knows to do that.
It's the first thing everyone learns.
But for some reason, we get stuck on that gun because I just think it's also a big issue in our sport because that's what sells classes. Yeah. The gun sells classes. Like it really does. Like if you really want to make money in this sport as an instructor, just keep telling people, yeah, man, we're going to shoot 2,000 rounds. We're going to shoot 1,500 rounds. Even if you don't learn anything, you're going to feel like, hell yeah, I got my money's worth. Hell yeah, dude, we shot 2,000 rounds, baby. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what were the drills? And you're like, I'm not sure. Like, we just shot a bunch of this. We did some of that. I said, what did you learn? And it's like, actually, I don't even remember what we're supposed to do. I just know we shot a lot. It was awesome. It's like, okay, you can go do that on your own.
Boys.
Yeah, I could go do that on my own. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I could shoot 2,000 rounds in a day easily and not even think twice. If you just put me in front of a target with doubles, man, I'd smash. My gun would be so hot I couldn't touch it.
Yeah.
Right. And I could just mindlessly go through 1,000 rounds. And like, I shoot 1,000 rounds every time I go to the range. I don't go to the range to fuck around. Like, Not everybody has the budget. Like obviously I'm a professional coach, so like my budget for ammo goes into ammo. I don't spend my money on drugs and alcohol and partying and going out. Like I just go practice. This is my drug, right? Like is teaching and going through all this process. But it's like watching people go to the range. Like I like every class I have, I'm like, and actually I'm getting worse at this. Now when I see somebody shoot and they're just shooting rounds and I go, bro, you just wasted $20. And I'll tell you, it's working. Like students are like, oh yeah, I didn't learn this fucking thing. Like what I
That
just
was
shot.
when you said that to me when we are doing, I forget what we are doing, but it might have not been to me, but you mentioned it. And I
Yeah.
was like, I went back in the next training session, I was doing doubles to work on this grip.
Mm-hmm.
And Angel said it again to me because he was holding the timer. He goes, how many rounds you shoot? I forget what it was. It was like 8 or something. He's like, yep, you could just give me the money next time if you want. I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, give me the rounds, give me the money. It doesn't matter. I'll take it if you're just going to throw it away.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. He goes, what did you learn from your sites there? I'm like, nothing. He's
And
like,
that's the problem. Yeah.
he's like,
Every round matters. And here's the thing, like it's crazy because I do the same thing. Like I don't waste ammo, but I do the same thing where I'm not 100% focused. So like on a video I just posted the other day about the mount, and I caught myself only watching the video. This is the problem. I had to wait till I got home to watch the video because I was actually shooting content for my online course. And I'm shooting the doubles and I'm just ripping a hole, dude. Like, ba-bam, 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 ba-bam. 12, 11, 12 splits, just crushing. And all of a sudden, my shoulder opened up. And then I had to roll my shoulder forward. I paused, I felt it, I saw it, I rolled my shoulder forward, and then I'm just ripping. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, that doesn't, like, I'm at 10 yards. So then I do another video because I'm doing a live fire program for to match my dry fire program with the PCC. And at 15 yards, my group opened up a little bit. And I had just like kind of a random round again. And then I get to 25 yards and the group, is great at great speed, but it wasn't what I should have had at my skill level. And then I watch the video, dude, and I'm rocking back and forth. And I'm just like, bum, 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 like everything we talked about, like in our class, in your class, bum, 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 bum. And I'm just like, I feel that. Like, I actually feel that, but I'm not, I'm just, I'm going through a drill and I'm focusing on the gun so much that I forgot like that my body is bouncing back and forth. So when I'm watching this video, it's a guy commented on the YouTube video. He goes, hey man, did you notice that you kind of bounce back and forth? And I said, that's so funny that you said that because that's what's on the list for this week because I don't tighten my core like I would in a stage when I'm doing drills. I get fucking lazy, bro. Like I'm not lazy shooting wise. I'm lazy with how would I shoot this in a sport? How would I shoot this in a match? I wouldn't stand loose. Like I'm going to give my body tension and rip this gun. Like I'm not going to tense everything up, but I'm not going to let my body go like this when we were shooting. And if you watch the video, like I can see like it's a good half an inch to 3/4 of an inch that my whole body is moving a little bit.
that will affect, especially I saw you running stuff at 100 yards. You're moving a couple inches at 100 yards. That's the difference between an alpha and a delta or a mic.
So this week is going to be on my list for that. I'm going to practice tomorrow. Um, and that will be the focus. It will not be on the gun. Dude, the mount that I have created and the things that I have just discovered actually within the last 2 weeks on top of obviously 5 months, um, I'm very excited to see where this gun is now that I think now that I'm going to actually think less about the gun and more about my body on this on this. I just plan on doing like just a couple of drills of doubles on that just to kind of see where I'm at. I'm very, very, very interested to see how the gun handles. It, the one thing about my training recently, the last 5 months, like when I get back to pistol, man, it's going to be good because I've learned a lot about. I don't think I've really suffered in a long time. This 5 months has been pretty fucking miserable, dude.
You've been pushing yourself. I mean, we were talking about your prep for,
Mhm.
world shoot that you're doing, and just in the preparation, in the process of preparing for something, not even in reality what you're actually doing, but you learn something from that as well. I mean, I know you probably prep for a million things, but I'm sure this is different. Um,
It's
and
very different.
Yeah. So it's
Very
like if you
different.
go back to like after World Shoot and now you're going into say Carry Optics Nationals or whatever big match you have on the calendar, your skill of preparing is going to be you're going to see it way different, I guarantee. Um, Compared to, from your experience prepping for World Shoot. Because I one thing I know you're not going to do is say, "Nah, it's nationals, it's not World Shoot. I don't need to prepare the same." I know you don't have that in you. So now your level of preparation is going to be way higher. At
Yeah,
least
I don't think I've ever really prepped for a match like I have. I don't think I've ever properly prepped for a match. That after this, like I've been I've been pretty safe, right? Like I've been really safe with my training. Obviously I've gotten better every year, but like this 5 months has been absolutely miserable. Like miserable. Like I think I go back and I think about how much I've never had so many practices where I was just like, what am I doing this for? Like this, I fucking suck. Like I'm never gonna win the world shoot. Like I'm so terrible.
that was me last week when Andrew kicked my ass.
Yeah. Well, I had I mean, the thing is I'm kicking my own ass, right? Like it's not like somebody else is there pushing me. That's kind of you kind of have a big bonus or advantage because you have someone there that has been shooting longer than you that can drive you, right? Like and I think you help him as well. I think you help Angel as well because he's like, oh, this kid's gonna come up here quick if I don't train hard also. So you have a huge advantage with that. But the thing with the training for me in the last 5 months, man, it's been I've gone out there and intentionally done things that I'm uncomfortable with. And I've gotten so comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like when we went to this match that I just shot, I was like, what is going on? Like this shit's so easy. Like, dude, 25-yard, 14 split in a match on the draw. I rip the gun, I go, bam. And I'm just like, and I told myself, I said, you rip that. You rip it. You rip it. Like you've been practicing this for 5 months. That isn't even hard. What the hell are you wait? Don't wait on that. Like go get it off the draw. And I just go boom, boom. And I'm like alphas. And I go over to the tux and I go pop, pop. And I leave and I'm just like, God damn right. That was alphas. Like I knew when I walked off the stage that it was all alphas on those targets at 25, 30 yards, whatever those were. And I shot him in 13, 14 splits, right? Like, and I'm just like, all right, you know what to do. Like you just go do it. Like there is no fear. Like you give me anything inside of 30 yards at this point, I'm probably shooting like a 10-yard target. And the crazy part is for the last 5 months, I will say the last month was the hardest for me. Like I have a buddy Alberto that I'm really close friends with, and I talk to him all the time. And I mean, for almost a month straight, I was really doubting myself. Like I really had some negative thoughts, which I don't usually have. I'm usually very positive. And I was just like, bro, I'm really struggling with this. Like I'm really getting my ass kicked. Like I can't, I'm not executing this perfectly like I want to, or I'm not getting this enough. I don't want perfection, but I know that I'm not executing this enough, like fast enough, well, that was my expectations.
Mhm.
And he said to me, I was actually at the range and I sent him some pictures and, gave him some time or whatever on the stage, what I did on that specific target. And he goes, dude, do you remember like when you started this 5 months ago, like you had a 1 second split at 100 yards or 60 yards, you were shooting, 80 splits. And now you're shooting quarter splits at 50, 60, 70 yards. And then you get to 100 and you're shooting 60 splits. And
Yeah,
I go, yeah,
that's a good point.
I have gotten better. Like you're right, dude. Like, like that's why I surround myself with great people. I don't want
Everyone's a
ass
good dude.
kissers, but I surround myself with people that have seen the progression, right? Because I'm not going to see the progress. It's like having a kid, right? Like I have a younger son, and every time I come home, I'm like, God dang, boy, you're getting big. And it was like, well, he was that big when I left 3 days ago, right? It's like, but I was away, and I come back, and I'm like, oh, look at, geez, kid, you got grew, and it's like, well, you didn't grow in 3 days. You were already that size, and it's just you get used to it. You get used to what you are as a shooter, and it's just one of those things.
Yeah,
So, but it's been awesome.
yeah. Alberto's a good dude. We've talked a little bit online, which is good. Yeah, he's definitely a kind of guy that I can see. He's not going to let you slack like at all. He's
I
going
don't need a lot of motivation. Like nobody really ever has to tell me to go to the range, right? Nobody ever has to tell me to go to work.
even if
Because I
it's hot
consider
out,
the range work. What's that?
even if it's hot out.
Dude, I go regardless. It doesn't matter. Like, dude, I came to the class and it was snowing. I could have been a little bitch and quit, like it's just, I don't, I love this job. I love what I do. So, and I have days where I don't want to go to the range. Like I'm just like everybody else. There's days I don't want to eat healthy. I don't want to work out. I don't want to do any of that stuff. Like I'm like, man, I could just sit on my couch and play video games or whatever it is. And those moments that I break away from that and I go to the range. Every single time I've called my friends after a range session that I didn't want to go, I was like, dude, this is the best fucking practice I've ever had.
Mm.
Every time because I went there and I just worked and I worked and I worked. And dude, I go and I'm not kidding. I shoot 1,000 rounds when I didn't want to be there. And at the end of that practice is usually my best. Like that's when I'm the most locked in. I'm like, all right, dude, you got 400 rounds, 500 rounds, whatever. You got half a bucket because I take a 5-gallon bucket of ammo basically. And like, all right, baby, let's get it. And I get over there and I just start smashing it at the end. I'm like, all right, I'm really tired. This is where you get really focused, like vision work. You're going to smash that gun into the shoulder. You're going to work on that elbow angle. You're just going to do the job. And every single time I leave that range, I'm like, I just got so much better.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So much better.
that's awesome.
And you don't need 1,000 rounds to have a great practice. But if I'm going to the range, I'm going to put some work in. I put a lot of mental work in at practice. I don't think people realize how much mental stuff I do in my class. Like I talk about a lot of mental stuff. Like people just are like, oh, he just shows you how to run the stage. Or, dude, I would say my class is heavily about the mental over the shooting.
And yeah, I talked to a lot of the people in the class, especially in preparation that coming on together here. Like, what were your biggest takeaways? Like, what did you like a lot about the class? What did you take home with you? And about everyone said like the mental aspect of preparing for a stage, because we hear a lot of different things on how you're supposed to do it. But downloading that information to your mind and actually preparing for it is very different because a lot of people have heard like, either just shoot subconsciously, don't think about it, or you'll talk to the guys at the local range. They're like, oh, you need to memorize your target order, and once you get that, then like just walk it a bunch of times. Or you'll hear like you need to sprint the stage, like how you're going to run it in the real match. And like my point is, you hear everything, right? You
Yeah.
hear literally everything, and sure, maybe it works for them, maybe they say it works for them, but they'll never get better from it. It's, you know, but your take was very different. Like even I was sprinting through the stages.
I remember yelling at you, slow down. You don't need, what the hell did you just learn doing that? And you look at me and you go, yeah, nothing. Okay, got it. I'm gonna go back and do that again. that
Yeah,
was, that was
exactly.
one of my favorite moments. I think that's on video too.
It is. But especially Joe. Like I hit up Joe and I was like, hey, I'm getting on a podcast with Tom. What were your biggest takeaways from class? Because I know he's gonna have some good stuff. Same with Johnny and Tyler. Talk to them. And I'll just single out Joe here. And his biggest thing was like the mental aspect of I need to think. Because everyone tells Joe, Joe, stop thinking. But what Joe really needs is to like lock in, think about it,
The proper thing. Yeah.
process each step, and stay like oriented on the process of executing.
Mhm.
Not just like, all right, everyone thinks I'm dumb. Sorry, Joe. We don't think that.
He was
But
awesome. I think he did great.
yeah, I mean, he can kill it. But I think that's gonna when he starts shooting matches this season with us all, I think that's gonna be a huge leap for him when he can calm his mind, like you talked about, actually make stage plans that mean something to him that he can think through and have detail. Because how many people do you talk to that say like you don't plan when you're going to enter, you don't plan when you're going to exit, all you think about is the order of the targets, and that's it. Like that is most people's stage plan. Where am I going to start, where am I going to finish, where am I going to hit these targets from this array, where am I going to hit this array from this position? And that's going to like segue into something I wanted to talk about with you is the difference between spot to spot shooting and shot to shot shooting is, I mean, I would probably bet 90% are shooting spot to spot, where not to their fault, but everyone learns like When they're stage planning, I'm going to go here, shoot these targets. I'm going to exit off this target. I'm going to enter on only one target and then shoot the next. And I'm going to exit on this last target. And then I'm going to come into this position, not shooting, shoot on this target. And I'm going to call it my entry target. I'm going to exit on this. And then the stage is going to be done. I have a great stage plan. But in reality, they just got negative hit factor 3, 4 times per stage,
Yep.
which I know it's something you'll definitely want to talk about, is you will lose to the guy that's going to continue shooting the entire time. You're gonna lose no matter what, because we play a game of how many points per second can you get. And if you're not shooting, like you said, the priority is bullets. Like you have to get bullets on the target because when you're pulling the trigger and hitting targets, you're getting points. So your hit factor is going up. If you're not, it's going down. There's no other option. Um, and people never think about that in their stage plan. And at least talking to Joe, Tyler, and Johnny, that was huge for them in the actual, like you talked about, mental side of stage planning. Because it's more than just telling yourself I'm the best shooter in the world.
So I think stage planning is, or actual stage running is probably the only subconscious thing in shooting for me. And what I mean by that is I don't look at the spot on the ground. Like I don't shoot at a target and then go look at the next target, look at the next target, look at the ground, run. Look up here, get the gun up, shoot at this, look at this, shoot at this, look at that, shoot. Okay, run. Now I got to go around this corner, go up to the front, get to that target. I don't ever have to do that while I'm actually shooting because I've done all of that during the stage planning process.
Mhm.
The other thing that's big about my stage planning process and how I teach the stage planning is that I want you to slow down. No one, I don't know a single person in our class, and I've obviously I do this for a living, so I see a ton of them. I've never had to tell someone not to run. Like everybody wants to run. So if I tell you to not run, there's something important about that. Right? So like when people are walking stages, I'm like, what are you getting out of the walking the stages? They're like, well, I'm finding out where all the targets are. I go, okay. So now stand back here and tell me your stage plan. Right. And then when you can't tell me what your stage plan is, you don't actually know. You're just looking visually. Like he was actually one of my examples where I made him walk the stage mentally with his eyes closed. And, it was awesome to watch someone who has never stage planned to that detail to stand there with his eyes closed and go gun up, sights on target, come in, step on the right side, shoot this paper on the draw, get gun first, boom, 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 and eyes closed and crush it.
He
Absolutely crush the
crushed it.
stage planning
He
part.
crushed it after that. I mean, minus doing 2 reloads, but that's
Yes.
good for you, Joe.
But again, that's because
Yeah,
he still has subconscious shooting in his brain, right? So he had his original reload in the stage from the very beginning of the state of the match, like the practice. So like he never was able to eliminate that until the very last stage. And then he finally did it without. And what did he think about? Not reloading, right? Like he needed to put his brain on something else. So again, when you just kind of mindlessly go through things, this is where like a random reload sneaks in. Well, where did that reload come from? Well, you had consciously or subconsciously shot the stage with that in your brain from your original stage plan. This is why you have to really focus. Like this is why I can change my stage plan last minute because I can stand there and go, okay, I have exactly the same stage plan. It's like a puzzle piece. I'm just going to move that puzzle piece to this puzzle piece now. Like I got the wrong piece in. It's just a little jigsaw puzzle. I'm just going to move that piece and switch them out. And now we got the perfect piece in there. So instead of me going, my stage plan is this, it's like, no, there's a little section here. There's a little section here. And there's a little section here. How do I put them together?
right. And that was
And then
one
making those adjustments.
that was one of my biggest breakthroughs with the class too, is because I'm going into my 3rd year ever holding a gun now. And competing, I've always been told stick with one stage plan, don't change it. And it's worked, right? But you'll always get beat by the guy of equal skill or better that chooses a better stage plan if there's a drastic difference. I mean, a lot of times the top shooters can all run different stage plans and they're around the same, especially if the stages are built well. But every now and again, there's like a drastically better way to shoot a stage. And you'll see someone go and they're like, oh my God, they just smoked us by 3 seconds. And they did something totally different.
Bro, it happened this weekend. I shot against Max and Justine, two of the best shooters on the planet with a rifle. So like right now, I ran a completely different stage plan than both of them. Let's see, what stage was that? That was, I think it was the one I posted today. I ran it in 1675. They ran it in 1810 and 1871.
Hmm.
Completely different stage plans. They ran theirs semi-similar, and I ran it completely different. And you can't tell me that they can't shoot fast as I can. Both, both of them are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that my stage plan didn't matter. And it wasn't an execution issue, right? Like I mean, neither one of those guys are bomb stages on a regular basis, right? And it was a stage planning thing. We had another stage later on in the match that actually helped me get second because I ran it from right to left, and Justine had ran it from left to right, and she had a malfunction, cleared it and shot. I hit a no shoot and had to cut, or I hit a hard cover. I was cramping up really bad, so like when I landed, I crumpled and threw the gun into the tucks. So I moved, shot the next target, and had to come back to it. So I was like, oh look, we probably evened out, but it was because of the stage plan. But my stage plan allowed me to attack a little bit more aggressively than hers.
Mhm.
Uh, and her malfunction didn't help. That's for sure. Going back to the tuxedo for me didn't help. So it's kind of like I remember I finished the stage. I was like, "Hey, I gave it all back to you. Like I gave you my advantage. I took your I took your mess up and kind of evened it out a little bit."
Now,
I'm like, "Oh, geez," but I mean, I was able to win that next stage just because of that. Like it was a stage planning thing, and it's funny because they both talked about it afterwards. They were like, "Man, I would redo that." Like Max had shot, and then Justine was the next shooter or getting close, so she didn't have time to change it. It was a pretty complex stage, so I think she did the right thing and just stuck with what she had at the time. But even Max came over. He's like, I would have ran that right to left if I could redo it because they had to wait on a swinger, and there was some other stuff there that I didn't like that they did. So,
yeah. I mean, the way you stage plan makes it easy to do that though. Like that's the difference. Before I'm trying to memorize
yeah,
everything. And if
yeah,
you told me as I'm walking up, like if Angel came up, he's like, Matt, I just saw another way. You got to change it right now. I'd
yeah,
be like, dude, I do not have the time to
yeah.
memorize it all.
I'm bombing
I
this.
can't. I can't do
Yeah,
it, right? Like I'm gonna have to stick with this, execute it my best way,
yeah,
and eat whatever the cost is. Versus now, like I feel confident switching it up, even if I'm walking up to make ready, because all it is, like you said, I'm just gonna switch these two things around. That's
yeah.
it, because I'm compartmentalizing each. I don't want to say position, but kind of position.
Array, just
Like
array,
yeah,
just an
like
array. Yeah,
I'm gonna enter and exit. These are my spots for each position. It doesn't matter if I'm coming from the left side of it, if I'm coming
right.
from the right side, if I'm coming from the top or the bottom.
Yeah,
Position I need to start my crash to start shooting in is the same because we have to shoot in a box or
yeah.
in the fault lines. So that doesn't change. All that changes is I'm going to be coming from a different angle, or I'm just not going to go there at all because I can shoot it from a different position that I didn't walk for some reason.
That's
But
why everything I teach is more technique based than just run to that spot and stop. Like there's actual techniques that you can fix if you don't do them. Like if you come in and you crash late, you can go back to that and go, I was late as hell on that. I need to I came in too hot. I need to next time I need to come in a little bit calmer. I need to get the gun up a little bit earlier. Like you can't just say go faster. Like I don't understand that. Like okay, there are some times when you're like, bro, you got to get on the gun, like get faster. And then when something falls off, it's like, look, the reason why you're struggling when you go faster is because your grip's not good. It's not just go faster. Like, obviously, everybody says go faster. That doesn't mean that's what the answer is, right? Like, honestly, for me, I teach people to go slower, like, go really fast to the shooting part and then go, red dot, red dot, red dot, red dot, red
Eric,
dot.
like this part should be slow. Everything
Yes,
needs to be max speed.
yes,
Um,
yes.
and I've noticed now, even when I'm running stage, I look at stages totally different now. That's one thing. And two, like it's I now realize how much the timing matters. And people listening to this probably are not going to understand this unless they've taken a class for you or understand it themselves. But the timing of your entries and exits is like if you mess it up, I know I'm going to be behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I mess up an entry, I go, okay, this is costing me right
Yep.
now.
Yep.
I'm eating up points right now by standing and shooting all this. If I started crashing a little bit earlier or later, I would be right on pace. Um, and even if like a big thing you talked about, quoting you, you guys don't suck at shooting, you suck at decision making. Um, and it's so
Yeah,
true
baby.
because like the big difference you said is like I still make mistakes, but I correct it way faster. Uh,
Yeah.
and something I've noticed in my stages is if I miss the timing on something and then that like I shoot that section of the stage, I have to be on for the timing of the next array. I can't go, oh, I need to speed it up and shoot this one sooner. Like, no, I just made two mistakes now out of my process. Instead of just mistakes already made, it is what it is. Let's get back
Yeah.
on track and finish it.
That's it.
And that made so much sense because before you're always in your head like, "Ooh, I screwed up there. Let's try and get to the next one sooner. Let's make up for it." When it's like, nope, now we just compounded two mistakes because a mistake is something that you didn't plan for, regardless of what happens. And getting back on your plan is sooner is how you like your mistake could cost you point 0.8. Say that's your mistake or
Yeah.
a second. And it's like, you know what? It's going to add a second, or maybe that added a delta or whatever. Let's just keep it at that.
Yeah.
Let's,
Because here's the thing, you don't really know if it's a mistake or not. Like, so you're not perfect. All right. That doesn't mean it's a mistake. The guy behind you might have a terrible stage plan, might be thinking spot to spot, might want to go do something completely more aggressive and just bomb the shit out of it. And you end up beating him by 3 seconds. You end up beating him by 2 seconds. Dude, let's just say you have the same time and you lose the stage by a point. Oh, darn. Wait until I get you on the next one when I actually don't screw up.
yeah.
It's about consistency, dude. Like the number one thing people ask me, like they'll see me at a match and they go, "Do you check your scores?" Because they'll see me on the phone or whatever. And I go, "I only look at the scores when the stage is over." And they're like, "Really? Why?" And I go, "So the next stage I can try harder." No, I look at my score to see if I'm consistent. I want to see, all right, did I have 8 Charlies on a stage that was like sitting right in front of me? Was I consistent? Was I in the top three? Was I in the top five? Right? Like, so when you start getting against these good guys, the goal here is to not, it's not to have the bomb, right? Like, so like I won a lot of stages against Max at this last match. The problem is I had a big bomb. Like the malfunction killed me, right? But I also had a home run stage. I had a couple stages where I just absolutely smoked it. But again, it wasn't because I tried harder. It was because I executed what my stage plan was and I just focused on shooting one stage at a time. My match, I was 80 points down in the first two stages. I had a 14-second malfunction because this is the craziest thing ever. It just I this is just like the shooting gods didn't like me that day. I had warmed up the day before. I was at F5. Josh Frelick's has a place where you can stay there. So I stayed there for JP. And that day I sighted my gun in and I shot an entire mag of bullets out of the magazine, the one I was going to use to shoot. Not a single malfunction, dude. Ran great. First stage, 6 shots, dead mag. Just jams, right? So clear the gun, put the magazine back in, malfunction, clear the gun, shoot the rest of the stage, crush it. All alphas, but like 14 seconds slower than everybody else, right? I'm like, hell yeah, all alphas, big deal. And when you shoot that, so shoot all alphas. Whatever. Now again, I could have went all ham afterwards and shot a bunch of Charlies and Deltas, and how much better would that have been,
You
right?
would have dug
I got
yourself deeper a
no,
little bit.
I got maximum points there. So outside of the time, the next stage, luckily the match directors allowed me. Nobody was on the stage that we had just shot, so the match directors allowed me to, or the range master allowed me to test the mag. Malfunction on number 6 again, like exactly the same. I said, okay, it's a mag issue, not a gun issue. The JP's been running great right now. So I was like, cool. I'll switch mags. So I had another big stick, ran that, shot it. Not a single malfunction after that. The very next stage, I shoot 1 Charlie and a Mike no shoot on a swinger because I didn't stay aggressive on the swinger. I tried to aim at the swinger and I just nailed the no shoot, dude. Like, so the Mike no shoot was 1 bullet, right? So it killed me. So that was the only shooting mistake I made when it comes to hits the entire match, right? After that, not one time did I go, oh my God, I'm down 80 points. I got to go faster. I got to go harder. I got to push. I said, all right, I always push. I always shoot like I shoot. I'm always aggressive. I'm always attacking. I'm always going after it. So what do I need to change? I just need to do what I've been doing. You're shooting great. You just shot single Charlie on that stage, right? Like I don't even think about the Mike no shoot because I already know what I did wrong. I literally just didn't attack the target and it caused me a bad hit. So I go to the next stage, crush it. 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 Even if I don't win the stage, that's not what I was trying to do. I was focusing on vision, mount, and ripping the gun as fast as I could see, right? I go through, I come all the way back and take second place.
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean,
I don't know
something,
what else to do there, you know?
yeah, I mean, it's all you can do. It's something I was definitely, this did a big switch for me. I like to look at scores when I shoot after I shoot. Mainly because it allows me to get it off my head because I'm curious. After I
Yeah,
shoot,
but why? What is it? What do you get out of it? Let me ask you this. What are you looking at the scores for? What does it give you?
I don't know. I'm just curious. I
So, but
like to
again,
know,
but what does the curiosity add to the match at the time? Let me ask you that.
to allow myself to drop the thought of how I did on that stage and get,
Why are you thinking about that stage when you're done? That stage is done. The process should go right to the next stage. Should be at the dry fire, at the safe table. You should be getting your mags loaded, talk to your boys, just let it go. Even if you shoot all alphas and you win the stage, is that going to change the way you shoot the next one? It shouldn't. If you stay locked into the process, bro, none of that shit matters.
yeah.
None of that shit matters.
Yeah, because any time or any mental effort I'm putting into after the stage, if it's
Got it.
preparing for the next one, I'm I'm losing time that I could be preparing for.
100%. Because the thing is the more mental prep you give yourself for the next stage, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
Like I have gotten really good at shooting penalties and not giving a shit. Like it's crazy because I wasn't like that before. Now I just understand like as long as I have an answer, I'm good to go. Like once I shot that no shoot, I wasn't mad. I wasn't throwing anything. I didn't cuss at anybody. I was just like, you bitch, you were not aggressive. Like you shot that like a bitch. Like you deserve that. Like you literally deserve that no shoot, you dummy. Like I walked off that stage and I was like, I didn't shoot it aggressive at all. I literally was like, oh, don't, you're not ready.
You know
And I
what's
could have,
funny? It's when people start out and shooting like start their first competition and they shoot horrible points. They're just out there having fun, right?
yeah,
All right, next time I'll go, I can't wait to shoot the next one,
yeah,
right? They don't have any process, they're just going, but
yeah.
they're not about it. They're just having fun. And then when we're in like our middle phase, we're like, oh my God, I shot no shoot. Oh my God, I did this. And then when you get to a really high level again, back down, you're like, I don't even remember what I did that past one. It's like the
Yeah.
getting back
So
to
funny.
where
Yeah.
people first started. It's like it's already done. If you're still thinking about it, you're wasting time that you could be preparing for the next one.
Yeah, because that's the only thing you can control. Like, dude, like I cracked a joke about something about somebody asked me about like with what what is it like to shoot against Max? I said, well, I said the only thing I wish I could do is trip that guy when he's shooting or break his leg or something so I can make the world shoot team. And everyone's like, what? And I'm like, dude, I'm kidding. Like the best thing for me is to have someone like Max. Like I don't think people understand how I think about shooting. I don't look at shooting as winning. I don't care about winning and losing. Like obviously I want to win, but that's not what defines me as a shooter. Like I might never win a national championship. I might never be considered one of the best coaches. I might not, none of that stuff is in my control. That's always what somebody else's opinion is, right? Like no, some people think I'm not a good shooter, which that's fine if that's what you believe. Some people don't think I'm a good coach. That's fine if that's what you believe. I can only put in the work that I can put in, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy the getting better part. I enjoy having someone like Max that I have to work to beat. Like that dude's not giving it away.
No,
And I don't think people understand when you're at the top of the sport, they're never going to give it to you. You got to go take it, right? And these guys have been doing this way longer than me, right? Way longer. These guys are all younger than me. They all have more resources than me. You know, some of these guys don't work at shooting classes. They have jobs or whatever it is. They don't put their body through what I put my body through to travel and do hours and hours on the range at a time and so on and so forth. But this is not a complaint because I love what I do for a living. I wouldn't change it at all. I chose it, obviously. But these are all excuses that I could give myself. But instead, I look at it, I was like, all right, I'm going to prove everybody what's up. Like, it's a challenge, dude. It's my favorite part of what I do is that I look at this as in, all right, the deck is stacked against me. Let's go, baby. Let's knock that house of cards over, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I got into the sport. I mean, I played a little bit of college lacrosse, and I played sports my entire life. And I found this sport as I was like transitioning between stop playing college sports and
Right.
then I found this. And obviously, I'm very grateful I found Angel, like literally my first match. And the part that's addicting is the process of getting better. Like as you're seeing yourself grow, because that's what I loved in lacrosse. I played it since the third grade, 4 seasons a year. And the addicting part is watching yourself get better.
Yeah,
And
baby. Awesome.
knowing all the work you're putting in every single day, you get better. Like I would be so frustrated if I stayed the same. Like that is the fear. The fear is like never improving. But that's the part that's in your control, which is that's the best thing. You put in the work, the right work and the quality work, of course, and you get better. That's how it works. And obviously what you're talking about, like having someone not to pace you, but it's almost like a motivational thing. I don't know. Maybe it is for you having Max. It's someone that you get to take it from.
Yes.
Get to.
Yes. It's not and that's the thing is people will be like, oh, you know, this or that. I'm like, look, I don't really care about Max. Like, that's not the point. I don't think you understand. I don't care what Max does. I care about what I do. But he gives me something to measure myself by.
Right.
Like, am I getting closer? Am I progressing? Or am I having false confidence? Am
Right.
I telling myself I suck when I really don't? Right? Like, these are all things that, dude, people are people. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care what book you read. I don't care what mental coach you go to. People are people. We all have positive and we all have negatives. We all deal with things differently. If I suck, it motivates me. Some people suck and it crumples them. They need someone to tell them that they're great because they can't figure that out themselves because they don't realize the reason I know I'm good in this sport is because I've worked my ass off and I've grown. My scores, my match results, you know, making the super squad on a regular basis, that wasn't by accident. I didn't just accidentally go, hey, I'm here. You know, like it didn't work out that way for me. I wasn't an instant great shooter. I was athletic. I was well overweight when I first started. I mean, dude, I've dropped 30, 40 pounds since I've been in this sport. There's a lot of things that I've done in my life because of this sport. And it all depends on what you want, right? Like, what do you want? Do you want to be a great shooter? Even if you never make it to Grand Master, you're never going to win a national championship. What keeps you from having that same mindset? What keeps you from attacking that? Dude, there's only a handful of world champions. There's only a handful of national champions.
There can
It's
only
all the same guys,
there can only be.
right, baby?
Only one winner.
That's it. And that's what kills me is these guys don't understand that you're going to lose more than you win. You're
Yeah.
going to lose way more than you're going to win. You really are. Like, and I don't think people understand that is the problem is because they're deciding whether they're good or bad by their winning or losing, by their wins and loses.
Well, that's being
Losses. Geez,
focused
my
on the
brain today.
result. Yeah, it's being focused on the results more than the process. And
That's
like
it. The process is the best part.
people all the time, and that those are the same people that are like, I would have beat you if I had my reload. Like that
Yeah.
example I gave you, it's like you are not focused on the process of getting better, even if it means you're going to suck for a little bit, but then you'll surpass somebody in the long run.
Yes.
Because a
Dude,
lot
the
of
thing
times,
is if you don't care and you just focus on like actually trying to get better, you automatically start beating people that don't try to get better. Like the guy that's worrying about his score, versus the guy who's like, all right, how did I get that mic? Okay, I didn't have my sight. Okay, I didn't follow rule number one. All right, so the next time I come to the next stage, I'm going to really lock in during the stage planning that I'm a red dot, red dot, red dot, red dot, sights, trigger, exit, trigger, sights, trigger, edge, crash, boom, boom, boom. The next stage, you're going to smoke it because that little lapse that you had, you don't allow that to be a consistent thing. Now you go clean it up on the next one because you obviously didn't put enough attention to it at the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
without a doubt. I mean, that is the roadmap to self-improvement in a nutshell. Like if you're not analyzing yourself play by play, you're not improving. Like you can go out and shoot a match and have fun. Like I'm not hating on the people that go do that, but if you're one of the people that like want to be great and want to improve, and if you're not analyzing every single mistake and success that you do, you're not learning from it. Even
I've
the
never seen a shooter that wants to have fun not look at their scores. That's kind of like the funniest part of it all. They're like, I'm here for fun. I'm like, that's a good way to make an excuse if you don't do well. Because you're gonna like the first dude's like, why isn't the scores up? Why aren't the scores up? I want to see what the scores are, but I thought you didn't care.
yeah,
I
it's
thought it didn't
like
matter.
what we talked about with people with like major match goals, and they're like, I just want to be top 50. And I'm like, you're telling me right now you want to go and lose.
Yeah.
And I get
Right.
it. You know, you don't want to seem cocky, you don't want to seem this, but it's like if you want to be great deep down, we all know you want to win. Stop telling me you're like, my goal is to be top 100. Like, bro, the match is in 5 months, and you're already telling me you want to
I'm
lose.
gonna suck. Yeah.
It's like, if it pans out and like you're top 50, okay, sure. But like, you're going to win, right?
You
Like,
should have absolutely unrealistic goals in a sport. Like you should have unrealistic goals. You should absolutely be thinking I'm going to win it all. And then your other goals, your small goals are leading to that,
yeah,
right? Like the ultimate goal should not be the one you care about the most, right? The ultimate goal would be a national championship. Like I try to explain this to people a lot. I don't really care if I win a national championship. It's important to me. It's important to me, not to anything else. It's something I want. And a lot of people are like, oh, a national championship, this. And I'm like, look, dude, just so you know, no one gives a shit who just won a national championship last year. No one cares. They talk about it for 30 seconds and then it's over. Nobody cares. Like seriously, like no one even cares. Um, they just don't care. Like if I go and go and win this world shoot, it is going to be a topic for about a week if we're lucky. And that's just
I'll have
because I
a
talk
topic
about it a
for
lot.
2 weeks. I'll do it for.
Yeah. But once that's over, it's like, oh, okay, time to get ready for handgun world shoot, right? Like, and this is the thing is people don't understand. Like, if your goal is to be a GM, if your goal is to win your local or whatever it is, once that goal is reached, what are you doing now? You quit. I've seen so many people make GM and quit immediately
Yeah.
because they never really did it for the process. They did it because they wanted to win or they wanted to get that letter, right? Like at all costs, they'll pay $5. They'll spend $10,000 to become a GM, and then they'll quit. Like they're like, I'll just keep doing classifiers. I'll hammer them until I finally get them. And then, the guys that stick around the longest are the ones that are like, all right, I want to win a match. Like I want to win a match. I want to beat that guy, or this is my goal is to place 95% or what I want to shoot 95% this weekend or whatever it is that their goal is. Those are the guys that tend to stick around and do the best because they're goal oriented on getting better, not results, right? Like being results driven.
Yeah, and I
Very,
catch
very bad way to
myself
train.
going back and forth all the time. I'm fighting the demons for it. Ultimately, I am process driven no matter what.
Mhm.
But like for example, like I'm sitting at, and class does not really matter to me at all. But I'm A class right now, sitting at 84.67%. I had a whole classifier match. I'm like, you know what? I'll sign up. I'll go get M, and whatever. A week before, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yep.
Is this going to make me better? No. Withdraw. Like, what's the letter means literally nothing. My goal is to win major matches that I'm signed up for. Is me going to this classifier match, spending the money and ammo when I could just go to the range and have a quality training session, which is more important for my time. I withdrew from the match, went to train. And it's, you fight the battles. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, classifier match comes up, I'm going to sign up. And then I think to myself after, what am I doing? withdraw. Let me get out of that.
Dude, that's the one thing I'd change if I could go back. My goal was to make GM in a year, and I missed it by a weekend. As soon as I stopped giving a shit, I had 100% after that on every classifier, and I became 100% GM, which was very big for me. That was another one of my goals, was to shoot consistency, shoot 6 classifiers in a row or whatever to get 100%. And I held it for a long time with the rifle. But then when I shot against Max, I got my ass kicked. 75 points. He beat my ass at a match, and we shot together, and I was flying all over the place. It was crazy. Like I got my ass kicked, and I was like, oh, I'm not a GM.
Hmm.
Like, I'm not a GM. Now, granted, I don't think Max is a GM either. That guy's like an alien. Like, that dude is just amazing, right? So, but you look at that and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm not ready for this yet. Like, now for me personally, I think it was a great thing that I got my ass kicked, because it drove me, like it still does. Like, I'm very driven to stop getting my ass kicked by that guy. And it wouldn't matter if it was him or it was somebody else. I'm not a huge fan of losing, especially when I put the work in. But it's like that moment is when I was like, I need to get better. Like, I'm not GM, like, at all. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm a local GM. Like, all right, I'm kicking everybody's ass around here. Awesome. But I'm not a GM. Because I wish we had a different classification for real GMs. Like,
Yeah.
and this is no disrespect to everybody else, but like, I wish we had a 1% GM status. Like, guys that are top 15, top 20 in the sport had GGM or some shit. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, you have a lot. I mean, dude, I know people that were GM back in the day when I first started that were making GM because they used the open classifiers as with the PCC. So it's like, I know people that didn't earn their GM spot, and there's people now that I see that are earning GM because they have control of the pad, and they're, there's some cheating going on or whatever you want to call it, and it's like you get reshoots on classifiers, which I think should be removed. You have to earn it or you don't earn it. But these are all things like where it's like, I don't think people understand how much it sucks to be at the level that I'm at. Like, I really don't think they understand. If you drop 10 points, you're in big trouble, dude.
Well, that's
Because
the thing.
they'll bleed you to death. 5 here, 5. Like, I don't think people understand one Charlie could cost you a match.
Yeah. No,
Um,
yeah, it's real. I mean, something I've been saying forever. I wish your classifications were only determined on major match percentage.
I think the only thing I don't like about that mindset or that concept is because, dude, our sport is literally ran and exists because of local matches. And most people will never go to a local match because or never go to a major match because USPSA doesn't financially can't support the local clubs to run a major. We don't really have a good infrastructure to teach people how to run major matches. Um, and I mean, we don't have enough help to run major matches because, this new generation of new shooters seems to be a bunch of takers and not, giver backers. So it's like there's a major issue in that where we have a drop off there. So, like, at some point, I think this sport is busy and has a lot of shooters because of the classification system. If you don't
Yeah,
have a classification system, we probably don't have the shooters that we have.
people like to rank up. And it's like, when you were talking, like, it gives me something to base my results off of.
Hmm.
Not everyone is at the top or will ever be to have
Right.
someone they can chase. Not
100%.
everyone has like my situation where I have Angel I can chase literally every week. Like for some people, it's the classification system is what
Well,
they.
I think they have someone to chase every week. I really do. I think if you go to any kind of locals, you have someone to chase, or you can set your own goals. I think the problem is people don't. It's about the result more than it is about how they got there, right? Like, okay, so, and what I mean by that is, I can't tell you how many people post about their local wins when there's no one there. Even some of the GMs that I'm friends with, I'm like, dude, you literally beat C class guys. Like, what the fuck are you posting about that for? Um, like, don't talk about how you won. Just show your great stages. Like, you're a great shooter. Why do you have to talk about it? Like, just like, I don't know. I don't get that stuff. Anyways, so like for me, I don't have anybody to shoot against at home, right? I'm one of the only GMs that shoots locals or whatever. So like I go in with a goal to beat everybody by 100 points, right? Now is that a pass or a fail? No, not really. It's just I set a goal to win by that many points. Like I want to win by 100 points. I don't care if the stage is just one steal on every stage on a draw. I'm going to try to beat everybody doing that and win handedly. The reason
Benchmark.
why, yeah, well, the reason that is because if I don't do it against them, I'm not going to even be hanging close to max, right? Or JJ or any of these top guys. Like it doesn't matter who it is. You have to have a certain standard against, guys that aren't at your level or whatever it is. And I think that's kind of where the problem is a lot of guys they don't like have hit lists. Like for me, I always had a hit list when I started. I
Uh,
had a list of guys that I wanted to beat, right? I had a list. And what I would do is instead of going, I'm going to win the match, I was like, all right, I want to beat that guy. Like, how am I going to beat that guy? I'm going to train this. I'm going to train that. I'm going to train. These are my three weaknesses, or this is my weakness. I'm going to work on this. And then I would, try to beat that guy. And then, as I progressed within a year, I was like, oh, those guys are terrible. Like, I can't believe I thought those dudes were good. Like, you know what I mean? Like uh, my barometer changed, right? Like all of a sudden I was like, yeah, that dude sucks. Like I was
not,
that
not
much
who we
worse
said he
than
was. Yeah.
that guy. And it was just like, but you don't tell them that obviously, but it's like all of a sudden you just like you have a little list and you're just like boom, 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 and you start knocking those lists down and you're like, all right, well, I got to pick somebody better now.
Mhm.
Uh, but I think the problem is guys are in such a rush to get that letter because they think that's what actually makes them better. It doesn't. It's like, dude, listen, I was a GM and within a year, and I was not a GM. I was getting my ass whipped against any but the guys that were actual real GMs. I mean, dude, it took me 4 years. I think 4 years to make the super squad, maybe five. I was a GM in a year. So, but I'm a GM. Why am I not making the super squad? Because I wasn't a GM. I just had the letter. And
Right.
as soon as I made GM, and the very next time I shot against Max, which was Area 6, I think that was the first time I'd ever shot against him. Like that I thought I was going to be able to be compared to him. Um, I was like, oh my God, like I made a mistake. Like I can't shoot my way. I can't shoot enough bullets to gain his experience, to gain the knowledge that he has. Like there's no way I'm going to gain this knowledge in a year.
Mhm.
Right. So, I mean, I used to shoot so many rounds, dude. I shot 50,000 rounds in my first year, right? Just such a waste of money. Had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was just shooting and shooting and shooting, but I was fast as shit, boy. I could run and I could shoot the gun. I was very good at responding to the gun. I understood exactly what I was doing with the gun, but I was terrible at the entries, the movement, the exits, I mean, I was terrible at it. I just ran to a spot and stopped, spot to spot. I ran, stop, shot everything as fast as I could. Dude, when I started, that back in the day when I started, moving and shooting really wasn't a big thing. Like it wasn't a big thing. It was, it was pretty much production days. Not a lot of people moved and shot. If they did, it was like an entry target, whatever it is, maybe one here and there. But when I started, I was like, all right, I'm going to learn to move and shoot. I think that's going to be the key, like that to get better, moving and shooting. So I started doing a bunch of drills to learn whether it was faster or slower. Like, and I realized like, oh my God, even if I walk slow, it's still faster if I'm moving and shooting because I'm gaining distance. So like I started putting my program together, when I first started, I didn't even know I had one. Like one of my students came up and he goes, hey, you have a program. Did you know that? And I go, well, shit. Yeah. Actually I do. I have kind of a system on how I do things and like how I can make them repeatable and I can fix them. And I mean, I could literally write my entire thing down on a piece of paper and go, oh, bam, boom, 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 boom. Oh man, I guess I really do have an actual, like something I can hold in my hand and make changes to if I have something screwed up. Right. It's not just oh man, I had a bad draw, fix it. Well, what was wrong? Oh I didn't tap my belly. I didn't grab the gun. I moved the hand too fast, or like I learned that if I have processes, I can make repairs in the middle of a match. And when I started doing that and I started shooting against Max and I just started working on those drills, all of a sudden I was like, oh, my classification, I'm starting to reach that classification I've been fighting for. Like now I'm starting to become a GM. But it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years of me just working on one drill at a time, one drill at a time, one drill at a time. And and it got to the point where I was like, okay, this is how you get better, you know?
That's something I have to incorporate in my live fire. I do it. That's what my dry fire is. Like isolating things that I'm not good at, putting it all together. All right, this is what I'm bad at now. Let's isolate that. I do that in my dry fire all the time. And then when it comes to live fire, I think I'm layering too many things at once.
You're trying to get better fast. That's all it is. You're trying to push the process. What you don't realize though is if you just took 2 weeks to just work on one thing. Let's just say you just work on the crash and you do nothing but the crash. Even if you're doing stages with multiple crashes in it and you just throw out the fucking score, stop scoring the shit. Stop comparing yourself to Angel on the time. And you're just like, I'm process focused here. I don't care about anything about what's the crash feel like? Is the gun up? Do I have a great grip? Am I getting accurate? Am I shooting accurately when I come into each position? Right? If you just worked on that for 2 weeks, you would never have to go back to that until later. Like, all right, I want to get better. I'm going to speed up the crash part. I want to speed that up. All right, cool. Now I'm going to go back and revisit it because I've already got better at it. I've already got it locked in. Now I'm going to speed it up. Okay. So I'm like, all right, cool. Got the crash. Well, oh, this popped up. I need to work on this instead because the crash is pretty solid. But let's just say I have a hard time with exits. I'm not leaving on the shot, right? I need to work on that. Okay, cool. I'm just going to make sure, even if I'm doing stages, like breaking it down, I'm going to work on exit, exit, exit. And if those exits aren't correct, then I've failed, right? And I'm only going to work on exits. I'm going to isolate that drill and then I'm going to put it in a stage. I'm going to isolate the drill, put it in a stage. I'm going to do that for 2 weeks. Sometimes that shit might take you a full month. Sometimes it is something that is just, oh, this thing is just never going to get better. And then all of a sudden it clicks and you go, oh, dude, I'm crushing this drill. And guess what? That's 4 weeks I just gave you. You just learned the crash and you learned exits in 4 weeks. But when you put them together, you didn't learn shit.
Right. And I think that's
the process.
I think that's where I'm falling off right now. I feel like I'm learning half the information I should be and spending double the amount of time.
Well, right now, dude, you just learned the crash. What has it been? 2-3 weeks since we did the class?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're already trying to come in on 30-yard no shoots. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Are you absolutely crushing 10-yard entries every time, having perfect transitions, having perfect entries that set you up for the exit? No. So why the hell would you make that harder until you get that fixed?
Good point. Now, when you mean like isolate, are you like running the stage and you're isolating the thought of what you want to get better, or are you just isolating, all right, I'm going to be exiting from this spot, crashing into this spot. Let's just isolate. Let's just say the exit to crash that array.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm working on just the crash. Let's just say, so like when you're working on a specific skill, you want to break it down to a drill, right? Like, so like the stage you guys had built the other day, you had 3 crashes in it, right? The problem is you also had a score mindset. You had a total time that was in your mind versus crash, enter, bum, 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 exit, crash, bum, 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 crash, bum, bum, bum. And then Angel turns around as you suck, you know, I'm kicking your ass or whatever. That's I want to win a stage versus I'm getting better at the crash.
Absolutely.
Right. So at the end of the day, it should be just 50 runs of the crash, 25 runs, whatever it is. And then run the stage and then go back to the crash, then go back to the stage, the crash. The reason I like the stage scenario is because it allows you to kind of break away. Am I executing the drill in a stage setting? Because what happens when, as soon as I give you a stage setting, you go, I want to get a score instead of crash, shoot, crash, shoot, crash, shoot. And what you don't realize, or what most people don't realize, is if you just focused on that drill during the stage, your score takes care of itself and becomes magically better because you're just focusing on what you control.
Yeah. And I think that's why my dry fire is like that, because there is no scoring.
Yes.
Like,
that's being results driven, right?
I'm literally in the factory working on one specific thing and I can't score. There is no scoring. It's dry fire.
And your dry fire should match your live fire, vice versa. Like you should not be, let's just say you're working on doubles and you're working on your grip. Well, what the hell are you working on the crash for if you're working on doubles, right? Like, why isn't your dry fire movement? Why aren't you working on tight crashes, like small crash movement? You don't need a lot of distance. It's just understanding, hitting that ground, getting the gun up and walking 3 steps, right? Or 4 steps or 5 steps or whatever you have for space. You don't have to go outside to do it. Hell, you don't even need a gun to do the crash. It's just about getting the gun or those hands up, getting the proper pressures on what you know, it's like, it's a lot of that's a mental practice too. Like everybody knows how to walk. I don't care who you are. We basically walk and shoot the entire time we're in this sport. And I don't think people understand that it's nothing special. It's nothing hard. It's just run real fast, get to a specific spot, get the gun up, and now walk in, baby. And you're going to shoot and walk. But everyone's like, oh, dude, it's so hard. I'm like, no, it's not. You just make it hard. You go, oh, this is a sport. I'm going to cross my feet. I'm going to do some backflips. I'm going to try to do this special grip thing. I'm going to try to do that. It's like, dude, keeps this shit simple, right?
Yeah,
I want to have a certain kind of sight picture. It's a fucking red dot and shoot it.
one of the biggest breakthroughs you had was in that class. You ran from, you were all the way in the right, and you shot. All right, you didn't even shoot. You just, the buzzer went, and you ran all the way to the left and shot one when you were in the corner. And then you're like, this is the time, say it's 4 seconds. And then you ran from, you went back to the right, ran all the way to where you were starting to crash, and then you shot. And it was like 2 seconds. And you were like, all right, so you had 4 seconds of zero hit factor. I had 2 seconds of zero hit factor. And that extra 2 seconds say you had zero, I'm now gaining points. Even though I'm maybe, walking very slow into it, it may not feel as fast as a dead sprint, but it goes back to, we play a game of hit factor, right? Points per second. I'm getting points in that 2 seconds where you're not. And that was huge as far as like, so many people talk about like, oh, you need to work on entries and exits, but they're only talking about like, say like a 3-step entry. I mean, that's a great skill to have because you may need it for certain things, but that's the extent. They come in and it's only, your entry is only one target. It may be that like that in a stage, depending on how it's set up, but your entry is actually how you shoot the entire array coming into position, not just your one specific footwork into one target. That was like a huge, because my stage planning was like this array, this is my target, this is my exit target.
Yeah.
Like serious, that's how I'd go. I'm planning to be like, all right, I'm going to enter on this target, shoot the array, exit on this target.
Yeah.
Which is really like, all right, this is the first target I see. I'm entering into the entire array as soon as half of the A zone comes available on this target. Yeah. And then, obviously there is only, usually unless you're backing out of position, one target to exit on. Because you're entering in on the entire array.
Shooting everything else, yeah. So it's like what do they call it? Cutting the pie in IDPA or whatever, like in self-defense, where like you're just shooting whatever the closest target is you see. Take it like that. That's exactly how you shoot the sport. If you shoot them as you see them, it's a lot easier to shoot the sport. If you run in and try to shoot 8 targets, your shooting sucks. You're going to rush it. You're going to shoot the speed that you think you're supposed to shoot instead of the speed of your sights. And the one thing about my system, and one of the reasons why the crash is so important to me, is because it gave me an opportunity to calm down. Like I say that a lot in my class, like that's my calm down target. And that's why I said, I didn't really realize until recently how much my class is mental, like just getting people to understand that it's not just the calm down. And I said this in my last class in here at locally, is that I'm giving myself time to process the information that I need. So like if you need your sights, whether you run with your gun to your chest and then jam them out there, or you get the gun up early, you're going to process that information. How long you get to process that is probably going to decide what your hits are. So if I throw the gun out there and send it and hope to God that my fundamentals are good, that I have a good one, I'm probably not going to get that information that I should have had before I started shooting until 3 shots later. And then I've already fucked up the whole array. Or I can get the gun up earlier, let the gun bounce around all over the place. And then when the thing calms down, I can rip the shit out of everything because I've already processed it all. I think I'm going to do that because I'm really going to get better hits. I'm going to know exactly what I have. I don't have any, oh my God, I hope I got a hit on that target over there crap, because I just don't shoot like that. And I used to. Like, I guess one of the things about me that's also different than most people, and I kind of see this a lot when we kind of have these internet conversations about things. I remember what it was like to suck. I've not forgotten that. I remember what it was like to be a C-class shooter. I remember what it was like to be a B-class shooter. I remember what it was like to have to try to, I didn't understand what I was doing wrong. I understand what it was like to shoot slow or shoot faster than I could see. I remember all that stuff. Like I remember it like yesterday. And I don't think a lot of these instructors remember that. I think a lot of people don't say like, "Oh yeah, I remember what that guy's going through. I remember. Okay, let me tell him what I would have told myself back in the day."
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
that makes you a good coach though that you can relate like that. Because I mean, you can be a great shooter and a horrible coach. And I've also seen like guys that they may not be the best shooters, but they're great coaches
Yeah.
because they can relate to who they're
Yeah.
talking to and articulate themselves very well. Um, and that's a huge thing because it's not like, and it goes back to our original conversation talking about the grip. It's not the same for everyone. And I'm not really just talking about the grip. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
coaching aspect of it.
Yeah.
And if you can't articulate yourself and relate to the person you're talking to and diagnose what they're doing and be able to give them like specific feedback to them, like that's what makes a good coach from a bad one. And
Yeah.
it's not always how good of a shooter they are because we how many fantastic shooters that we see that are like, dude, you are maybe coaching right now isn't your thing.
Yeah.
Maybe a few
Yeah.
more years you'll be a lot better at it. But um,
I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know if coaching. I don't know if you get better at. I think the thing is with coaching is you become a better, or even as a teacher, you have to become a better communicator. You have to understand that your way of saying something might not work. Like I had a student this weekend. Her name was Katie. She's gonna be a great shooter. She's a woman. She's pretty new, so she's pretty small too. Like not a big person. Like not like a buff guy or whatever you're gonna see. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of stupid or this or that." Like when she struggled and she had a couple things, and I just started laughing. I said, "You're not stupid." I was like, "You just don't know what you're doing yet. Like you don't have the experience or whatever it is." And I remember just looking at her and I said something like five times, five different ways, but number five hit. And she just looked at me. She goes, "Oh, okay. That I'm so sorry that it took me so long." I said, "I'm not." I said, "All I care about is that you understood. I don't give a shit how many times I have to say it." I said, "The only thing that bothers me if I have to repeat myself is if you're not paying attention." And I was like, "And you're paying attention. So we're good." Like whatever it takes to get through is all I care about. And it's not because I'm like, "Oh, good job, Tom, you did it." It's because I'm not there for me. I'm there for you. I want you to leave this class with no questions. Like literally no questions. Like I know exactly what he wanted. I know exactly what to write down in my notebook or take notes or take in the video. I know exactly what I need to do to when I leave here. The next time I call Tom, I'd be like, "Hey, watch this.
Mm.
Hey, the next class I see you, I'm ready because I completely understand the concepts that you were talking about."
Yeah. And speaking of next classes, you're coming down to Granby again
Yep,
in Labor Day weekend.
I think so.
Something
Yep.
like what can people expect signing up for a level one class with you or your typical class?
So I got to change the name of my class because I don't think my level one is my level one. I mean, I don't really know what people expect when they take my class, honestly. I actually, before we finish, I'm interested in that, in what you were expecting and then what you actually got, because I'd love to hear that from you. But if you want, uh, the biggest thing you're going to get from my class is you're going to get a heavy dose of fundamentals at speed. Like that's the first thing we do. Like I would say the first thing we do is I'm just going to hit you over the head with knowledge. Like I just don't believe in holding hands at in the sport. I don't think there's levels. I mean, obviously there is levels, but I don't believe in coaching at levels. Like I've never had a D class shooter come to my class and be treated like a D shooter but I also don't hold like crazy expectations. And I think some people do, like shooters wise. I think they're like, "Oh, he's a D class. He's going to slow the class down." Well, just in case anybody knows, the only person that should be controlling your class is the instructor. So if your class slows down, it's the instructor's fault, not the D class shooter. So
Good point.
uh, we had all levels in our class, and not at one point did any of those lower levels or higher levels changed the way my class was ran. We ran the same drills. I talked to everybody exactly the same. I gave everybody the same expectations. I got on everybody if they didn't get good, if they didn't push, whatever it is. I just, that's a big thing with me is you're probably going to have some accountability in my class. I'm probably not going to let you slide and just be like, oh, it's okay. You're not going to get it. You're going to get it. And you're going to get it. You're going to understand it. You might not be perfect. Might not be great, but I promise you before you leave my class, you're going to understand where your weaknesses are and probably where your strengths are. So that's another thing about me that I think is important about my class is even though I'm going to get on you, I am like your biggest cheerleader. I definitely am not a guy who berates people. I don't talk down to people, but I'm not there to fluff you, tell you how great you are. But if you crush it, you will definitely know that
You'll
you
be right.
crushed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So back to your question, what I was expecting out of it coming in is one, I wanted to shoot. I mean, we're a shooting class. I expected to shoot. So
Right.
for the people that do shooting classes and don't shoot in them, it's a major bummer. Two, I wanted to be told I sucked, where I was falling off, and how to get better. Because I'm only interested in improving. That's it. And if I'm not getting exposed to what I'm bad at and how to fix it and how to train it on my own, then I just wasted my money and my time, which I definitely got. I mean, that's all I got is how to get better. On top of that, you obviously have a very unique perspective on, especially movement. Like that was me and Angel were talking about. Like we want Tom to come. I want to learn his take on shooting and moving, how he shoots a stage. Like that's what we wanted to learn. The grip and stuff like that. I didn't even really know I had an issue. I mean, I knew something was going on, right? But
Awesome.
like,
Yeah.
I could get the results I wanted to on a stage.
Mhm.
Did I know that I could get even better? Yes, but how? I didn't know. I wasn't expecting it,
Yeah.
which was great. I got more than I came for. Um, but your perspective on how to shoot a stage and movement was something we were like really wanted to learn, and we got a ton out of. Like those were our biggest takeaways. Um, that's what I was expecting. To get told I sucked, pointed out where it was, and personally pushed like on a coaching level and see results, which I think you dropped like 4 seconds off my stage time. I've never had that happen before,
It's awesome.
right? Like I'm
And you
normally,
shot slower. That's what you don't realize. You shot slower.
I,
Like that's why I try to tell people. I'm like, dude, I'm going to teach you to shoot slower. And they're like, what? I'm like, trust me. I'm going to teach you to shoot slower. The problem is you think when someone says go faster, you immediately go to the gun. It's
yeah,
not
and
the
you
gun.
didn't tell me to shoot slower.
Nope.
You,
I told you to
you
shoot your
literally
damn
told me,
sights.
yeah, which I was
Yeah.
doing, but I was at
100%.
the spot, and now I have to stand still and blaze it down.
That's right.
And I'm shooting very, very little of my sights, even though it was my sights.
Yep.
Uh, versus this way, like you're faster in the end because you're more efficient. Which
Mhm.
the definition of efficiency is I can put, less effort in and get the same result or
Now,
better
here's the other thing
or
about
better.
that. But here's the other thing. Let's just say I need to go get it. Let's just say I need to push. Well, guess what? Now my timing is there and I get to push. I'm already more efficient and I can push if I need to. That's the difference. That's what people don't understand. It's not about, it's when you push and you just have this like, all right, I'm going to run here, shoot, run here, shoot, run here, shoot. It's going to fall apart. But if you can give yourself more time to process that push, all of a sudden it becomes your new fast. Becomes your new norm.
Mhm.
The thing is what if I need to push and the technique sucks? I'm gonna bomb. And then that's when I look at it and I go, oh my God, I'm so inconsistent. I'm getting a 125th finish and then a first, a second, and then a 125th or a 50 and a 60. You're getting that 50 and 60 because you don't have a system. You're just running to a spot and shooting, and sometimes you hook up, sometimes you don't.
And that's what probably 100% of our class was doing. Being
Oh, all my classes, dude. Like all my classes, and that's another thing. It's like I don't think people understand is like don't feel special. Like don't feel special that you suck at something. Like everybody sucks at the same thing. They all do. We're just at different levels. We're at different speeds. We're different, different health. People are different sizes, and it's strengths and all that stuff. So it's like some guys that are really athletic are fucking terrible. But because they're athletic, they hide all of their terrible fundamentals with their athleticism. And then that's why I mean, you heard me say it a billion times. What kind of shitty stance was that? Like, how are you going to repeat that stance? Now go over there and stand the way you're supposed to stand. And you're like, God, the gun went right back where it was supposed to go. I said, hey, like, what a concept. Don't be lazy. Don't use your athleticism. That's a bonus. Like, that's a bonus. Get into the proper shooting stance every single time, unless you can't. I was like, but right now there isn't a single thing on this stage that I've given you where you have to be out of whack or not fundamentally sound. And then all of a sudden, when those fundamentals landed, all that sloppiness fell off and it became consistent. And now it's like, and that was another thing about the class that I try to tell people is like, I don't really care about you shaving 4 seconds off. All I care is that you were shaving 4 seconds off over and over and over again. I don't care
I
about the
couldn't
eight.
mess it up after that.
Yes.
I
Yes.
literally couldn't mess
Yes.
it up. Um,
Yes.
I'm not saying that to be cocky at all, but
No,
my
100%.
first run was my normal shooting, right?
Yeah.
And then we learned some stuff, practiced it, cut 4 seconds off every single time I ran it. And everyone was getting mad at me because I kept wanting to shoot because everyone was standing around the
Yeah.
fire.
That's it.
But I was like, I need to keep doing this. This can't be real.
Yeah.
I got to keep doing it. And I couldn't drop below that time. Like, as long as I kept doing everything, I was only getting faster because I was getting better at the technique because I was having
Yeah.
more. It was brand new. But 4 seconds was now my new norm.
And that's, again, I try to explain to people in the class, like, it's funny because I never actually, I got to answer him why, but I messaged Joel because he knew somebody, Joel Park knew somebody in Arizona, if I could get a pad for the class, because I had done a class there with no host, which is unusual for me to not have a host. And I said, hey, do you have an iPad that I can score? And he goes, what do you need an iPad for? Like, at your class? Like, he just thought that was weird. I was going to score. And it's not because I care about the score. Actually, how many times did I talk about time or score at all? Almost never. I almost never talked about that because I don't care about. I know when you're moving the gun or not moving the gun, and I feel like the more I tell you time is the more you become result driven instead of process driven. So I just leave that out of the class completely unless I have to. Right? There's moments where I'm like, look, move the gun. Okay, now look what happens when you shoot it your way. Now move the gun. You're like, look, a quarter of a second. And then they just go, oh my God, like, this is ridiculous. That's so much easier. So it's like, there's moments like that where you have to get on the timer. But I feel like I don't want you to be results driven. I want you to be process driven. That's what creates the time. So I score the first run, not because I need a score for me. I need a score for them to understand, like, look, this is the consistency that we're looking for. I don't care about the 15 run because then you went back to 17 or 19 or 18. I care that it's 15 all the time or 17 all the time or 14 all the time. I care about the consistency of that number because you're going to take chunks off of your time, but they don't come off at once. You're going to take a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. And that's you focusing on the process, the crash every time, getting the gun up early, sights and trigger, exiting the target as soon as possible. All these things add up to the score. But most people go, 14, what's my hit factor? What does it matter? You were just terrible on that entry over there and lost 2 seconds on that entry right there.
We got a lot more bigger things to worry about.
And that's it. Because so for me, the reason I do that, the reason I do a pad for myself or for the students is because the sport, you have to have some confidence in when all the work you do, right? So like I literally tear you down in my class. Like you really are getting your ass kicked. Like, and not me personally, but like the drills that I'm giving you you're going to struggle. Like I know what it's like to train like that. And you're going to get your ass kicked in that class. Like you're literally going to struggle, but you're going to see the light. You're going to be like, oh, I got so much. Look at my group. Like, holy crap. So that pad at the end kind of gives you something to go, okay, I'm motivated to get to work. Like, look at that, dude. That's 4 seconds right now. I got another 2-3 seconds to get off of there. I can get that off of there. I just got to work on that technique, work on that technique, work on that. Right. So a lot of the times that's why I like the pad. Plus I'm very sport driven. I'm not gun driven. I'm trying to teach you how to shoot the sport.
Yeah.
Um, so, and how do we shoot the sport? With a score, right? We shoot with a score. So, I mean, I got one more thing. I'm trying to remember. It was about, crap. What was it? There was one more thing I was going to tell you about with my class. Like what you're going to get in my level one. Dang it. We started talking about all this other stuff, so I kind of lost it. But yeah, there was something about the level one there, like what you're going to get in my level one. It was, I can't remember what it was now. Dang it. I hate when I do that.
Oh
I'm getting
well.
old.
But all right. So for the people that all took your level one already, I'm assuming we're gonna have you back again next year for level two.
Yeah.
Why should we take your level two? What differs from your level one to your level two?
So the level one to the level two is the level two is basically all movement on steroids. It's the level one movement process on steroids. So it's all movement drills. It's understanding the entries, the exits, the crash. I basically eliminate the fundamentals. I take away the grip work. I take away the transition stuff. It's all in movement. You're going to do all those transitions and all that work in a stage setting. And what I mean by a stage setting is we don't actually put up a stage on in that class at all. We put up scenarios. So like a wall, entry target, steal, exit, come in on another one. I put a port in the middle on one stage, or like, so I basically have three people shooting at the same time, or
Mhm.
two, depending on the size of the bay. And I work those two people shooting at the same time, going opposite directions, obviously for safety. And I try to, it's all movement. It's just understanding how to blend positions, how to attack arrays. It's all vision work. It's basically you're shooting 1,000 times shooting a mini stage,
So
right?
you're basically micro training the stages or the skills of the stage essentially,
100%.
but
And
getting
then that's all
maximum.
you do on day one. That's day one.
Okay,
Um, and then day two, we shoot a match together.
I like that.
So we shoot an entire match together. So what we do is we walk stages with me. I walk with everybody. We walk the stage. So I'm a little different. I don't know if I'm different than everybody else in that aspect, but I don't believe in giving the answer until it's time to give the answer, which, you saw me as a coach. I don't give the answers. I make you guys think a little bit. I've never learned by someone telling me. I've learned by someone challenging me, and then I have to figure it out. And it's always been better for me. So I do the same to all my students. Basically, we walk the stage, everybody comes up with a plan, and then I go, okay, what's your plan? What's your plan? What's your plan? And then I break it and I show them where they're not thinking properly, where they're not, the last target isn't the most important target, yada, yada, yada. And then we shoot the match together. But what I do is, it's probably the only time you'll see me never paced. Um, the shooter shoots. When they're done, we walk scores, everything. I take them to the side and I go through what they did, what they didn't do, things they need to clean up for the next stage, whatever it is. Then the next shooter goes, I talk to them, the blah, 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 all the way through the whole stage. And then I shoot the stage last, right? So that we can kind of compare scores, but it's kind of hard because I don't really, I'm there for everybody else. I'm not really focused on my shooting. So sometimes it goes okay. Sometimes I'm shooting amazing. And sometimes I'm just like, dude, the last two trips that I've had in California, yeah, they weren't so great.
I'm
Like
gonna
that
put,
local
I'm gonna
match
put a
was,
plant in your squad at Area 7. Just tell them to talk to you the whole time.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, right, right. So like I won't do it for major matches that I care about. Like if I'll only do it at like locals, or if there was a local, like if there was a level two or something there that I didn't care about, like it wasn't on my list or whatever. I don't, because again, dude, I'm really good at not caring about the results. Like especially when I'm working, like you've seen me, dude. Like I get a million messages while I'm at on the job, and I never even look at the phone. Like I didn't take a single picture when I was there at your class. I didn't take a single picture in Arizona while I was working. I
Alex,
didn't take what's that? Yeah, but normally I don't have someone there taking videos, right? So like I don't take any videos, any pictures. I probably should do a little bit more of that, but I'm so locked in, dude, and I'm always working. So I don't know. I don't really care about that stuff. I care
I
about the student.
noticed I noticed that like big time. We're all loading, right? It's a little period of time. The corner of my eye, I see someone sprint past. I'm like, what the hell is that? I turn, it's you sprinting to the porta potty. There was a little bit of break where
Yeah,
everyone had to load, and you're like,
yeah.
all right, this is my chance to go. So that way, like when people are done loading, we can get back to what they're
Yeah.
here for. Which I mean, I noticed those little things, and I know other people did too, and definitely respect that a lot. But it goes exactly like what you're saying, there for the students.
Well, what are you there for, man? Like to me, like range time is so valuable. Like I can't I can't express how valuable range time is, especially with an instructor. So like I've taken some classes before where I was frustrated in the class because there were so many stories and so many people asking dumb shit. Like there was like if you bring 2,000 rounds thinking, yes, I'm gonna shoot, and you don't even shoot 1,000 of those, that really bothered me, man. Like I do a lot of things in my class for things that I wouldn't have liked, I didn't like, or whatever it is. And this is not against those coaches. We're all a little bit different, but I also don't believe in just shooting rounds to shoot rounds. Like we talked about this in the class. Like we worked a little bit on like on the draw a little bit. We kind of talked about some of those things. And then I was like, all right, everybody's good with the draw. Let's go move to the next thing. I don't need a class. I can't imagine spending an hour or 2 or 3 on the draw. Like, holy shit, what a waste of time for the shooters. Like so I just like, all right, cool. Like, let's look at your draw. Looks good. All right, cool. Like you can dry fire that faster. Like good. Like effort, 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 effort. You know, that's the draw is mainly your effort, right? Like beyond the grip part, it's the speed comes from the effort. Get the damn gun out of the holster to the target fast as possible. That's where the work needs to begin. That's a dry fire thing. You don't need to be standing here wasting class time learning how to draw the gun.
Right.
This is not that class.
Yeah.
So it's like the grip, right? Like I can get the grip work done in 15 minutes. Like I can teach you how to regrip your gun in 50, the whole class. I can teach the whole class to grip their gun in 15 minutes because the way I do it, each individual gets their work. I come over, make the adjustments, shoot the gun. Next guy comes over, shoot the gun. Next guy comes over, fix the grip, shoot the gun, shoot the gun, shoot the gun. And then we go into our double work. Then we go into the transitions. And that's all grip work throughout the whole class. So then throughout the whole class, I come over and I go, hey, your grip. Hey, your grip. Hey, your stance. I don't have to do a drill of just gripping the gun for 3 hours. You lose so much work doing just that. So I eliminate those things. I make sure that if I talk about the grip at the beginning of the class, I was like, hey, we got to think about the grip the whole time. Just remember that. Like, that's the process. That's how it works. There's nothing that I teach you that isn't used throughout the whole class. So
Which
when
I'm
you start
glad
doing
you
that,
did it
and
that way. I'm
what's
glad
that?
I'm glad you did it that way because like especially I've been in stuff before where like, it's exactly like you said. We're gonna work grip and we're on grip for half the day. And I'm sitting there like maybe I just need a couple minor tweaks and like you could have told me this in 2 minutes and we could have
Mhm.
saw some stuff and moved on. Where it's like I definitely appreciate how you ran the class like that because we did not waste time. Like people got what they needed, they learned from it, they got results, they repeated the results. All right, like there it comes a point where you're gonna have to put work in on your own.
Yeah. No, dude,
Your
if you go to a
problem,
class, you're instantly GM, bro.
your
You know,
problems cannot be instantly solved in the class. The point is you saw what's right, you were
yep.
able to repeat it, and now you know how to work on it on your own. Let's move on. If we're
Yeah,
spending
and then
more time, then I'm sitting there like, all right, like let's do something else now. Let's do something
and
else.
you can easily ask me a question when
Yeah,
someone's reloading or the next time you come up or like those things are all throughout the entire class. Like I've had people ask me, they were coming, they brought me over to the side when everybody was loading and they go, hey man, I just reloaded. Can I ask you the question about this? Like, is this where you want my hand or whatever? And I go, absolutely. But to like stop the whole class and fix that guy's grip after we worked on it for 30 minutes or we've been shooting doubles for an hour or 45 minutes, whatever it is, like I don't need to do that. Like I can have that conversation with him and kind of make an adjustment. I can watch him shoot the drills and go, hey, look at your grip. Your grip's falling off. You're not squeezing your hand. Like look at your shots on this. The other thing I personally love and why I do this is because I when you're just doing doubles, you're gonna do good because you're focused, right? You're really locked in on bum 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 bum. One might get away or whatever, but all of a sudden, you know, you're like, oh shit, I got to pay attention again, bum bum. And then you give them a drill where they have to transition. the grip falls off. Why? Oh, they got something else to think about. Now they're thinking about leaving the target or speeding up or whatever it is that they're trying to do. And then you go back, hey, look at your grip. That's why you're missing or struggling. It isn't because you're not seeing the target. It's not because you're not transitioning fast. Your grip fell off. So right back to the beginning, we got to go backwards now and start going back to what can I control? The grip. And then all of a sudden, I have got 1,000 rounds out of you with the new grip. So when you leave it, you got it. And you've had 1,000 rounds with me watching you shoot, and I can fix you while I'm standing there instead of going, I'm going to give you 3 hours of your own, because I'm not going to stand there for 3 hours and watch you grip the gun. That's stupid. And in my opinion, I would not do that in my class. I have too much stuff that I want. Honestly, I need 3 days to give you everything that I want to give. I don't know how many people would last for 3 days with this guy, but I would definitely want to hammer you for 3. I have so much stuff that I have to remove from the class that I would love to put in that I can't put in because we just don't have time.
Yeah.
What would the class cost, right? Like it would cost a lot, So, I mean, again, I understand, like, I'm a poor person, so I totally pay attention to what people spend to come to my class. I appreciate that more than anything. I know what it is to take that money and put it into my class. I'm not stupid. I appreciate that more than anything.
Yeah, I mean that is a huge thing because a lot of times, like people like me, I told Angel, I was like, "Hey, I got the budget for one class this year, maybe two. Who should I take it with?" Because we're very privileged where we have like a lot of good people come down to teach at our range that either Angel's connected with or I've connected with, and we have options. And it's
Yeah.
like, who should I learn from? I got the budget for one. And obviously, yours was at the top of the list, and that's why I came to yours. But that's definitely something like I always take in consideration. Like I know a lot of people take in consideration because a lot of people like they got the budget for one, and if you get chosen to be that one, like it's a big deal. At least I take it as is, and I know you do as well. But yeah, no, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Well, I would be so pissed going to a class and not shooting. I'd really be pissed. That instructor would hear from me, like in the class. I would be having a conversation, probably publicly in the class. Like I would be very pissed because I just want to shoot when I'm on the range, but I don't want to shoot on the range. I want to be told, like, I'll just give, and we've kind of talked about this a little bit privately. I took a JJ class and I went to that class as a Grand Master and I was dying for him to tell me I sucked at things. Like I was like, dude, what am I doing wrong? I didn't have to say that. I didn't ask him. Like I actually came there to be a better instructor. I didn't even think I was going to learn as much as I did as a shooter, right? Like, but I came in open-minded on both. But I came to see what he was like as an instructor because I'm like, bro, this guy's been doing this 20 years. Like I'm gonna learn something just from that, let alone the shooting part, right? And I became a completely different shooter after that class. I picked up so many different things, and I still didn't get enough of him. Like I still felt like I wanted more criticism and more, hey, you need to do this better. Hey, you didn't do that better. This wasn't fast. This wasn't there. And I couldn't get that because it was a group class because the way he did his class, right? It wasn't He's one of the reasons why I changed my class. Like my class is very, very, very individual. And again, this isn't a knock on him at all. His class was great. I highly recommend it. It was a great class. But for me, I felt like I wanted more individual. I wanted to give more for their money, like more treatment. I wanted to give people more money, like more for their money. So like the reason I break my class in half is because as I was coaching, I realized like I can't see 12 people. I can't catch everything with 12 people. But with 6, so if I bring 6 up and 6 down, it makes more work for me because now I'm always working. I never sit down. I don't get a chair. I work through lunch, whatever it takes to keep us shooting. If I have 6 up, there's 6 people shooting on the range at all times. So now those 6 shoot, they sit down, reload, the next 6 come up and shoot, the next 6 come up, shoot, the next 6 come back. That's the way I'm able to do 2 drills or do the same drill twice because I'm able to constantly keep working. If I have 12 people up at the same time, I can't see them all. I can't give individual treatment. And the other thing is we're going to have a lot of dead time on the range. Dude, it's going to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes to get everybody reloaded versus 15, 20 minutes. The other guys are dying to get back up because they're reloading. The other guys are shooting, boom, get back over there. They're dying to get back up because the other guys are reloading. They're going to be done. They'll be standing there like, all right, let's go, get off the stage. Let's go. Let's go. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. That was what I was going to talk about earlier. My class, and this, I take such pride in this, and it's so important to me that you get a one-on-one class in a group setting. That is I want you to feel like you were the only shooter on the range when we had 12 people in the class. We actually had 15 people in our class.
Our class was big, but
it was big
we
because
definitely
practice score didn't stop at 12. I was like, I finally had to shut it off because I was like, something's not working. Like it wouldn't shut off. Like it allowed 2 extra shooters in that weren't supposed to get in. So I was like, okay, stop. Like I had people messaging me like, hey man, is the class still going on? It's not on practice score anymore. It's on there. I just had to stop it because people were signing up at the end of the class. So it took them a long time to sign up, but it was awesome that it sold out.
yeah, no, we had our group was awesome. We had
It was fun. It was a great class, dude. Like I walked away from that class just be like, I can't tell you how many people asked me how cold I was. And I was like, I wasn't at all. Like, well, do you know, I work. Like, I just stay busy. I work the whole time. So I wasn't cold at all. Like, I layered up too.
Fire.
What's that?
You're like, I cannot go near that fire.
Yes. Well, I mean, I wasn't cold. Like, I just had multiple layers on. You know, I layer up. I used to hunt, so I understand layering clothes, but I had multiple layers on and I just worked, right? Like, if I stay busy, it's when you stand around, it kind of kills you, you know. But if you're staying busy and you're constantly walking around and coaching and stuff, it's pretty solid. So a couple of hand warmers were awesome in the pockets, and that was it. So
Yeah. All right. So kind of in closing here, if someone wants to take a class, someone wants to host a class, someone wants to come to Granby to take that class that we're doing, I believe it's Labor Day weekend, but whatever, we can correct people on the
yeah.
dates. How can they get in touch with you? How can they sign up? Um, yeah.
So email, if you're going to host a class, first of all, big shout out to all the hosts. I don't think people realize how important they are for an instructor. I went to Arizona. I had a host originally in Arizona and then they moved. So I kind of lost my host. Oh man, is it Pima Pistol Club is the one that I went to. And man, that was one of the best ranges I've ever been to for like, they were so nice. Like you don't always get that. Like the guys that were the ROs there, they were awesome. Like awesome. Those guys helped me with everything. So I didn't have a normal USPSA host like I normally do. So they were like, hey, here's the key. Any one of these connexes has stuff you need. So like I basically got to pull all the stuff that I wanted, right? Built the stage obviously by myself, which I usually don't need a lot of help. You saw what I build. I can do all that stuff myself. But a host helps me like kind of find everything and you know, knows the schedule of the class, like when I'm supposed to, like when can I start shooting? That kind of messed me up a little bit in Arizona because I was like, hey, we're gonna start at 9. Dude, they opened at 7:30. You know me. Let's get going, baby.
Yeah.
So I lost like 2 hours of training time, and they closed at 4:30. So I'm like shooting stopped at 4:30. So you imagine the amount of push I had to have on day one to get where I wanted. You know how much work it is on day one to get to everybody doing their stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So the host is a big thing for me. It makes my life a lot easier. If you host a class, I always give you a free class to come in. All I really need is a location. I need 12 to help getting students because unfortunately most people don't always know who I am. And social media isn't always working, right? Like it sucks. It blocks us a lot, but social media is a big thing for me. But I have people that never know who I was. That like literally, I was at Arizona. They're like, I didn't even know you were here, and I'm friends with those people. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, but I also don't spam a lot. Like, unfortunately, there's coaches out there that every video is a come to my class video, and let me steal your money kind of shit. So I don't do a lot of spamming. I tend to just give away a lot of free information, but host is very important for me. So thank you for all those guys. But I need a host, 10 to 12 students wherever I go. And I take care of basically range fees and all that stuff, just depending on what it is. You know, it's all built into the price. I don't try to gouge anybody and add extra or whatever. And then you just go to my website, tcsacoaching.com. That has all the schedule on there, or you can email me at tcscoaching@gmail.com. The other thing is with a class setup, I just need a schedule. Like that's the hardest part is trying to get the dates to work. Um, Dude, it's pretty easy other than that. If I just getting the schedule and then just finding somebody willing to host, it's usually pretty easy. And at this point, I think my coaching has gotten it's pretty well known. So like selling the classes aren't that difficult. It's just trying to get the classes started. It takes a little bit to get them started.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for your time. It was awesome kind of chopping it up after class and getting to talk about shooting, training, classes, coaching, goals, all the above.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait to come back. It'll be hopefully it'll be nice weather. Good to see what it's like
Rain
for the
or
one
sun.
month of decent weather.
Exactly. Well, all right. Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate you, brother.